Grace and peace, everybody. We're back up in the building. All right, we got a new setting, StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard. They gave me a new setting that I can stream simultaneously, vertically and horizontally at the same time. And it is looking really weird on my computer screen over here. So if y'all see me looking over here, looking strange, just because I'm trying to figure out why they got me looking like this. So shout out to everybody who's jumped into the best live chat on the internet. What's going on? Happy Monday to y'all. Now, I started a little bit early because I wanted to do something different. So today I actually watched the CNN interview with the infamous Elle Reeves and Candace Owens. I watched the whole thing, paid for my subscription to CNN, tapped in. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I don't know how Candace tries to finesse that thing, but it doesn't look good for her. I'm just going to say that. So I'm going to pull out a segment. I don't want to take from it. I do want y'all to check it out. But I have a segment here I want y'all to look at. Here's something I want you to consider. And because Candace is supposed to be starting at like 5:15 or so. So we got a little bit of time, little window of time. Something I want you to consider as you're getting your bingo boards ready, as you're jumping into the best live chat on the internet. What is the outcome of constant, steady diet of conspiracies? What's the outcome of it? Is the outcome that you become more faithful to Scripture, or to your faith community? Is the outcome that you become more loving around your family? Is the outcome that you become a better employee or a better employer? What is the outcome of a constant, steady, never-ending diet of conspiracies? Well, what if? Is it possible? Could this possibly happen? What's the outcome of it? And I want you to watch this segment, and I'll come back in and we'll talk about it. But I really believe this is the outcome, because you notice even in Candace's book clubs, she only talks about books that are centered around conspiracies and these weird cabals and these strange groups and all that kind of stuff like that, which there's place for. I'm not saying that you never want to do any understanding of that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, however, is that what happens if all you're doing is taking in a rich, copious amount of that kind of shenanigans? Does that lend itself to you being a healthy, well-balanced individual? Or does it maybe possibly, oh, I know what happened. I'm on the wrong camera. That's part of the problem. Okay. Or does it lend itself to you having, for lack of a better term, paranoia, just outright paranoia? And so we're going to look at it real quick. Hey, shout out to StreamYard. I appreciate the extra feature, but give your buddy. There we go. Now we got two of me. All right, I just want to see how it looks. I don't like how it looks on my side, so I'm actually going to cut this one off.
Deep state for sure.
Zionism.
Do you think it is a motivation for Zionism?
Well, I think it's weird that so many Zionists I know keep defending children being raped. Doesn't make me comfortable.
Who is defending children being
Any
raped?
person that is defending Jeffrey Epstein.
I want to look at this more big picture, right? So people have accused you of like your criticism of the war in Gaza as being motivated by anti-Semitism, which you deny. Can you look at it from a different perspective? Like, are you delegitimizing criticism of the war in Gaza by tying it to these conspiracy theories about like Frankists and things that
I didn't tie it to those conspiracies. What's happening in Gaza is wrong, and any person that can't acknowledge that is either being blackmailed, is either a psychopath, or they're fearful for their life. What's happening in Gaza I can see with my own eyes. It's not a conspiracy theory, and by calling everything a conspiracy theory doesn't make it so.
I feel like you actually got more careful with your language, because when I first started listening, I'd be like, who's they, Candace? You'd be like, they want you to believe this, they want you to believe that.
Why do you say who is they?
Exactly.
It's a word. Like, so why do you people do that?
But I know I'm not the only one, because you addressed it on one of your podcasts. You're like, you guys are always saying, who's they? Well, I mean, Israel, not Jews.
No, but like, it's just, they is a word. They is a word. So like, I don't need to always like say they. Like, it's just a weird, it's like, this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope?
Couldn't
that
give a shit about a trope. Literally, please don't even go down the line. It's so boring for me. It is so racist trope, anti-Semitic tropes, all strategies to get us fearful to speak. I want the world to know.
I'm telling you, these white nationalists, Candace, like, I'm not, like, seriously.
I have to tell you something also. You're white, so if the white nationalists are here in the room with you right now,
No,
I should be more
talked to them on the
fearful.
phone and they laugh.
Okay, because
Including one you interviewed,
by the way,
Nick Fuentes.
they should laugh because what
They laugh at the tropes that you are putting out. They're like, that is lowbrow stuff.
Okay.
These are people who, 3 of them, were literally doing Nazi salutes 10 years ago.
Okay.
And they are laughing at some of those tropes you put out because they think it's lowbrow and too far out there.
I don't
like it's
know.
too crazy for people who threw up Nazi salutes. You are like putting out into the world this like connection between these like really ugly ideas and criticism of a war that can be valid.
I said what I meant. If you'd like me to clarify any statements that I made, I'd be happy to do it. But trying to do some roundabout way of being like, well, Nick Fuentes held a Nazi symbol and he says it. I don't care about what Nick Fuentes said. I don't care about your feelings.
But you
I
have
think
changed your mind. You changed your mind about Israel.
Yeah, I did. But here's the thing. I think you're trying like a hatchet job at psychology, and I don't want to waste your time.
It's not about psychology.
Well, I know, but like
this
I
is
don't.
about like
I
reality.
want to help focus you. You're not going to be able to get even 1 inch on my perspectives on Israel. You're not going to be able to get me to believe or invest in some trope that I am saying that what they are doing is wrong and that the government is demonic. So, if you have anything else you'd like to talk about, I don't want you to spend your whole hour, trying to draw blood when you're not going to get it.
When you say, you have also said Israel is a demonic
Yes,
nation.
yes.
Okay.
Demonic.
People,
I've said that several
when
times.
you mean this literally, right? Like
Literally
can you
possessed
explain-
by a demon, okay, to shed that much blood and then to have people that willfully gaslight people about that, it can be only a demon. Full satanic possession has to descend, and that's what's happening. So anything else I can help clarify?
So if you just jumped in, thank you so much. Looks like 220 people have jumped into the best live chat on the internet. And I just want to say welcome to everybody. I took the time today to actually watch the full interview. I paid for the CNN membership and I checked it out. And it is really as bad as people thought it was. I mean, Candace looks completely terrible. Now, I will say this. It's only 27 minutes long. You heard her say there that you've been here for an hour. I want to see that whole hour because I really think they cut out a lot. They cut out a whole lot of that. And there's some parts in there later on if we want. Maybe we'll watch some other segments as well because she tacitly says that she's been interfering in the trial of Tyler Robinson. She does say that, like just flippantly. So that's kind of wild work. And I want to hear the whole sentence because it's kind of cut off. But before we watch that, I ask you all, what is the byproduct? What's the end result of a copious amount of conspiracies? And I think we all pretty much concluded that it's a level of dare I say, paranoia that comes out of it because all you're doing is ingesting conspiracies, ingesting these cabals, ingesting these secret meetings and secret groups and all that kind of stuff. And you're starting to become a hammer that's looking for a nail and you just see them all over the place. You see the boogeyman everywhere. And I believe I'm going to go back and play the whole clip over again just in case you jumped in, and I'm going to stop a couple places. You can see clearly that Candace Owens, and some people call it candy rot, brain rot, whatever you want to call it, you can see that this has taken over in her life. And if you watch the full episode, they talk about the Frankists and this Azerics group that allegedly is masquerading as true Jews and stuff like that. It's way out there. And you can hear that this woman has ingested all of this in. She takes it all as being fact and true, even though it's been proven to be false and definitely suspect at best. But she still believes it. She still holds on to it, and she's ready to fight you about it. So let me bring this back up. And I just want to stop. There's a couple places I just want you to look at and see where I'm getting this from. Because I'm not just saying this because I don't like Candace. Some people tell me I don't like Candace. No, she's a woman that needs Christ. And as I mentioned before, I don't think that this is why she can't point somebody to the gospel. Shout out to, I forgot the young lady on Twitter who's continuing my bounty out there for somebody to show me that Candace giving the gospel to somebody. And there's a lot of people asking it. And I think a lot of people realize that you're not going to ever get that. So let me pull this back in. Shout out to everybody who's jumped in. Thank y'all so much for hitting the like button and let me know that you're here. Shout out. Let's go.
Do you think it
The deep state
motivates
for sure.
Zionism? Do you think it is a motivation for Zionism?
Well, I think it's weird that so many Zionists I know keep defending children being raped. Doesn't make me comfortable.
Who is defending children
Any
being raped?
person that is defending Jeffrey Epstein.
I want to look at this more big picture, right?
But what about Henry or Harvey Weinstein? What about him? What about Andrew Tate? What about what's going on in the Catholic Church, Candace? I mean, again, Jeffrey Epstein, we can put him on the table. I'm not saying that he's not without sin. I'm just saying there's some other things that you could also call out just as much and just as passionately. And this is why I'm saying I do think that she might have gone a little bit too far. And it's like it's already carried her over the edge because she doesn't think robustly about anything else. It's everything. Every sentence is punctuated with Israel, Zionism, Jews, whatever. And not every sentence is about them. Not every one. Let's go.
So people have accused you of like your criticism of the war in Gaza as being motivated by anti-Semitism, which you deny. Can you look at it from a different perspective? Like, are you delegitimizing criticism of the war in Gaza by tying it to these conspiracy theories about like Frankists and things that
I didn't tie it to those conspiracy.
And here's another example. Maybe, just maybe, everything that's going on and what we're being told about what's happening in Gaza could be 100% true. 100% true. And the woman is asking a very valid question. What if your crusade for conspiracies is actually delegitimizing what is actually being critiqued over there in Gaza? So now people are not able to see what's going on because they're getting hindered by your conspiracies. That's a very valid question, a super valid question that Candace is about to do the Heisman on real quick. Watch this.
What's happening in Gaza is wrong, and any person that can't acknowledge that is either being blackmailed, is either a psychopath, or they're fearful for their life. What's happening in Gaza, I can see with my own eyes. It's not conspiracy theory, and by calling everything a conspiracy theory doesn't make it so.
I feel like
But what if, how about this one? How about this one? What if some people just don't worry about other people's yards like that? Maybe that's another option. So instead of you saying that they're fearful, they're being paid for, or they're psychopaths, maybe they just aren't paying attention to that because they're worried about what's going on here. Because remember, Candace is supposed to be allegedly America first. So why are you not worried about what's going on in America first? Or maybe even in Tennessee where you live, Candace, first. You are very invested over there. Kudos to that, hat tip to that. But what's going on in your own city, much less your own state? How about that? Maybe other people are also invested in their cities, in their towns, in their homeowners association. As I like to say, they're taking care of their own yards. And I don't have time to worry about somebody's yard on the other side of town when I'm taking care of my own yard. Not saying I'm not interested in it. If they ask a question, I might send them some advice, but that's really about it. But let's continue.
actually got more careful with your language, because when I first started listening, I'd be like, who's they, Candace? You'd be like, they.
All right, here's the infamous they conversation. And I have to give you, spoiler alert, they never really tease us out. I think both of these women are smart enough to realize that if you use a proper noun, and you start using pronouns around it, then we start to assume that you're addressing the proper noun that you already addressed. That's pretty simple. Lots of us understand that. Candace understands that. And I believe that Elle Reeves understood that as well. Now, did she push back on it first? No, I think she really should have. And I was a little disappointed that she didn't push back, because that's so soup. And then for Candace to try to sun her as if she's like, she doesn't have an education and, you know, what she say, I'm homeschooling my kids. I don't have time to teach you this. Did you miss first grade and stuff like that? To insult her, which she does that quite often through this interview, where she'll just insult you as if the question that you're asking doesn't deserve a fair hearing. So she just insults you and call you a name and then keep it moving. And you'll see this. We've all seen this. Let's go.
They want you to believe this. They want you to believe that.
Why do you say who is they?
Exactly.
It's a word. Like, okay, so why do
But
people
I know
do that?
I'm not the only one, because you addressed it on one of your podcasts. You're like, you guys are always saying, who's they? Well, I mean, Israel, not Jews.
No, but like, it's just,
You
they is a
have addressed
word.
it.
They is a word. So like, I don't need to always like say they. Like, it's just a weird, it's like, this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it
And this is why I say, like, she, in her book club, she reads a lot of books about psychology and the foundation of psychology, and all that stuff is well and good, and it has a place in the human discord. But instead of saying, so she really thinks that me saying they is some kind of psychological Jedi mind trick, instead of it being a grammar issue of you haven't established who the they is before you start using the pronoun. Like, it's really that simple. It's super that simple. And I really believe in my heart of hearts, Candace knows that. She just wants to, she's really trying to deflect it. She does not want that smoke, if you will, from having to answer who is the they, because we know who she's talking about. And she's the queen of implication. She's going to assume something and imply something. And then when you say she said it, I didn't say that. Just like she said here, I didn't say Jews, but you've been saying it all the other times. Stop it. Even in this bad example that she's going to use, let me back up just a little smidgen. Listen to bad example she uses. If I hit the go button.
tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking
See,
about
there
Jews,
was
then
a cut right there. There was a cut right there when she said that. I would love for CNN to let me have the unadulterated version of this video, because I believe there was a lot more meat on that bone, and they left a lot of meat on that bone. I would love to see what did you just edit out of there? Because you can see the young lady clearly was saying something different. Let's go.
they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews.
And y'all can write this down. If you have a pencil and paper, or maybe pull out your smartphone and just write yourself a note. Before the end of the year, before December 31st, 2025, Candace Owens is going to scream racism. She's going to scream racism. So just be mindful of that. And you heard it here first. She's going to scream racism before the end of the year. The reason he's attacking me is because I'm a black woman. That's what she's going to say. No, there's no way around it. She just said it right here when she references BLM. And notice, even in the last video, she started talking about race. She's never done that before. Now, all of a sudden, she's rolling up with some race. Watch. I'm telling you, it's going to be, she's going to start spouting racism by the end of the year.
I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope
Couldn't
that
give a
Jews
shit about a trope. Literally, please don't even go down the line. It's so boring for me. It is so racist trope, anti-Semitic tropes, all strategies to get us fearful to speak. I want the world to know.
I'm telling you, these white nationalists, Candace, like, I'm not, like, seriously.
I have to tell you something also. You're white, so if the white nationalists are here in the room with you right now,
No,
I
I
should
talked
be
to them
more
on the
fearful.
phone and they laugh.
Okay, because
Including one you interviewed.
by the way,
Nick Fuentes.
they should laugh because what you
They laugh at the tropes that you are putting out. They're like, that is lowbrow stuff.
Okay.
These are people who, 3 of them, were literally doing Nazi salutes 10 years ago.
Okay.
And they are laughing at some of those tropes you put out because they think it's lowbrow and too far out there.
I
Like,
don't
it's
know.
too crazy for people who threw up Nazi salutes. You are like putting out into the world this like connection between these like really ugly ideas. and criticism of a war that can be valid.
I said what I meant. If you'd like me to clarify any statements that I made, I'd be happy to do it. But trying to do some roundabout way of being like, well, Nick Fuentes held a Nazi symbol and he says it. I don't care about what Nick Fuentes said. I don't care about your feelings.
But you
I
have
think
changed your
you're
mind. You
trying.
changed your mind about Israel.
Yeah, I did. But here's the thing. I think you're trying like a hatchet job at psychology, and I don't want to waste your time.
It's not about psychology.
Well, I know, but like
this
I
is
don't.
about like
I
reality.
want to help focus you. You're not going to be able to get even 1 inch on my perspectives on Israel. You're not going to be able to get me to believe or invest in some trope that I am saying that what they are doing is wrong and that the government is demonic. So, if you have anything else you'd like to talk about, I don't want you to spend your whole hour, trying to draw blood when you're not going to get it.
When you have also said Israel is a demonic nation.
Yes.
Okay.
Demonic.
People,
I've said that several
when
times.
you mean this literally, right? Like
Literally
can you
possessed
explain-
by a demon. Okay, to shed that much blood, and then to have people that willfully gaslight people about that. It can be only a demon. A full satanic possession has to descend, and that's what's happening. So, anything else I can help clarify?
Okay. I mean, it's fair to say that Candace has lost the whole plot. The entire plot has been lost by Candace. And I wanted y'all to see that. And like I said before, it's on CNN's website. If you want to watch the whole thing, I think it's worth it. I think you'll get a lot from it. And the reason I wanted to show that clip is because I want to just show, for lack of a better term, Candace is way better when she has a polished, produced show. She does not do well in interviews. I'm realizing this now. Where there's contention, where there's a little bit of friction, where there's pushback, she doesn't do well in those. She does not do well in a adversarial situation. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh, well, here's one that she did well in. Okay, fine. But go look at the Nick Fuentes one when she was talking to him about him being married and being selfish. She looked terrible in that. Look at this one. She looked terrible in that. Whenever she's in an adversarial situation, she comes across a very arrogant, very mean girl. I saw that term show up in the chat. She comes across just like a very vindictive, mean person. And if you go watch the interview that she did with George Janko, that was a very friendly interview, super low key. There was no pushback, lots of glazing, lots of, ooh, Candace, you're so great. She came across perfect, came across like a champ. But when she has to get pushback, she doesn't do well. And I want to show you something else, just something else that's, I'm sure if you've been on Twitter, you've seen this. So let me just pull this in. And this is the infamous conversation about this interview. I think it is. Maybe we can put it on here. There we go. Okay. So this infamous interview, she said here, and I'm just going to jump to some of the high points because I want to get to it because I know her show's going to start in 15 minutes. She talks about the interview. She says, my interview with CNN, okay, it was booked before Charlie died. So that means before September 20th, September 10th, before September 10th. And it was related to my book launch. We kept the interview, which took place about 20 days after Charlie passed. So 20 days after Charlie passed, if he passed on September 10th, that would mean it would be September 30th. Okay? Thumbs up in the chat or green hearts in the chat if you agree with that math that I'm doing. If that makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, 20 days after the 10th, everybody knows that's the day that he passed away. So it would be around September 30th. If that makes sense, green hearts in the chat. Okay. It makes sense to me, so I'm a green heart myself. Okay, so let us continue. And this is just where I really think Candace, she's out over her skis, man. She's just really over her skis, and I can't pull this in without removing the other video, the other picture. Sorry about that. So we're supposed to be about September 30th, right? And this is just one of these small little nuances that Candace gets wrong so often. Maybe you should tap out of this, Candace, maybe. Watch this. Here's another clip from the CNN interview where she asked me what I mean when I say they. Please excuse my language. It was only a couple of days after Charlie was murdered, and I was not in the mood for stupid. Okay, so now let me ask you a question. When you see the word a couple, 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 how many days is that? Usually in your own parlance, maybe your family uses it a lot or you use it at work or whatever like that. What does couple mean to you? Okay. I see 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Okay. 2 to 4, between 2 to 4. I can accept that. Okay. So let me ask you this question. Does a couple ever mean 20? That's what I'm wondering. So if your son or daughter comes and say, hey, mom, dad, can I borrow a couple bucks to go to the grocery store? Do you give them a 20? Because that's a couple. Does that ever mean a couple to you? Okay. I see lots of people saying no. Lots of people not feeling the 2 doesn't mean 20. It could mean as much as 4. I don't think anybody would be mad if you gave your kid a $5 to go down to the gas station and get them a candy bar. Okay, fine. That would make sense. Here's a couple bucks. Take it. Be quiet. Bring me my change back. Shout out to James. So I think we all can agree that a couple doesn't necessarily ever mean 20. So let me bring this other, and I just found these clips and I just thought they were adorable that she was making, because of course Candace has to defeat or deflect or fight against this narrative because, I mean, it's pretty scathing, as most of you all have seen on the social media this weekend. This is not a good look for her. So let's pull this one in. How am I included in this many of the top X trends? LOL. Also, for the record, CNN interview was recorded on September 26th. They held it until now. That's like 16 days after Charlie passed, not 20, as she said before, and definitely not 2, like she said before. Which one is it, Candace? Is it 2, 16, or 20? It just seemed like at some point, I don't know if Candace knows when she interviewed with the woman, and it looked like they were in her house. I don't know. The math ain't mathing. The math is having a hard time today. Okay, but so if you've been following on X, the young lady that Candace was interviewing with, she's got all the smoke. She said, "Oh no, I'm going to show you the receipts." I kind of like her, actually. I think she's adorable. So let me bring this in very quickly, and we'll just check it out, and y'all tell me what y'all get, if I could do this correctly. I should have made it a slideshow. That's what I should have did. Dang, Jason. Okay, so this is the email exchange, and we know that it started on Tuesday, October 14th. So that's 4 days after Charlie passed away. I'm sorry. Wait. Pause. No, October 14th, not September 14th. So this is still well after that. Let us continue. So this is the back and forth exchange that they're having. So it looks like the first conversation that they had was on the 22nd. Please forgive me about that. Is on the 22nd in this conversation. Thank you. So long as Charlie's discussed in a tasteful way, that's fine. I understand you have to ask. I would just keep it to 1 or 2 questions about his passing. She's still mourning. So it's a sensitive topic. Now, this is, again, the L. Reeves talking to Candace's spokesperson or her agent, whomever, her representative. All right, so now we're going to continue it. Actually, I'm reading these out of order. I should have read them backwards. Sorry about that. Yes, so they're still asking about when are we going to have this interview, because you notice here, the interview date is September 26th, Candace Owens CNN interview. So that's actually, 16 days afterwards, and they're still having a conversation about it on the 22nd. So they still haven't nailed this down. So my point in bringing all this up is, and I only want to bring this up to you, and if y'all want, I'll drop them to you, or we'll put them in the candy file or whatever. But the reason I want to bring these up to you is just to show how simple little things that Candace says in order to make herself sound so engaged, sound so a part of what's going on with Charlie Kirk, only to fall flat on her face, because we can see clearly here, they still had not settled this interview, and we know what they were going to be talking about because they're discussing it here in the email. It ain't got nothing to do with the stuff that she's talking about. Now, I did find it interesting. They do at the very end of the interview mention her most recent book, Recipe for a Sandwich, or whatever she's talking about. Raise your hand if you really believe Candace makes her husband a sandwich, right? But they mention it at the very end, like in just a passing glance. The vast majority of this interview is about her conspiracies. The lion's share is about the conspiracies, as well as what's going on with Israel, Gaza, and Charlie Kirk, of course, is part of the conspiracies. But what they say, even as it regards to the white nationalism, they do a really good job of explaining why. Because Candace tries to make it sound like you sound crazy saying a black person is using white nationalist tropes as if that's like something crazy. But the woman explains where they came from, and it makes perfect sense why she's saying that about her. So it's not just she's just throwing it out there as a stopgap or try to stop conversation or stand the defense up. But no, on the contrary, she's saying it because she believes that this is what you're doing, that you're using these terms just like white nationalists use it or other problematic groups use it. And ma'am, you're getting the same results that they get. And they're looking at you like, don't you know what you're doing? And that's why they're laughing at her. So she makes a great point. Candace just didn't want to understand. I don't think she wanted to be gracious and hear her. In the interview, the segment that I played, she says, like, can you see this from the other side? And I thought that was a very good question that she's asking her. Are you able to even entertain that somebody else may have a different opinion and see this problem from a different way than you? And Candace clearly, I think she didn't say it directly, but I think clearly she doesn't. She cannot see it from another viewpoint. And I think that's a sad state of affairs, because I think ultimately that's why she doesn't move forward, because she's so caught up in conspiracy and cult-like behavior and so forth. Real quick, I want to say thank y'all to, everybody who's jumped in. We got 715 people in the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much. We got MT with his very kind $2 super. He says this: check out Alex Clark's response to Candy. It's gold. Why do I think I have that? I think I actually have that. I'll pull it back up. I know I read it. I know what you're talking about. I read it. Thank you again, MT. MT's been a member for a month. Oops. America must be demon possessed if the measure of bloodshed. Also, Fuentes did call her a low IQ anti-Semite because she's so bad at dog whistles. I mean, it's funny that she keeps trying to defend people who tacitly despise her. That's crazy work. So thank you so much, MT, for being a member for a month. Thank you. And then also for this $2 super. Who was defending him? Voices in her head? I don't know, man. Some of the stuff that she's arguing in this interview, that's why if CNN wants to drop the director's cut, I would approve of that, because I know it's got to be longer. I mean, again, the interview is only like 27 minutes long. And you hear Candace say that you've been on this for an hour. So where's the other hour? I mean, where's the other 33 minutes? Shout out. Thank you so much. Avengers Assemble. Candace is Candace first. Absolutely. Thank you for the $3 super. And then Amethyst Angel. Thank you, love. She's so far over her skis, we can call her Sonny Bono. If you don't know, ask an elder. Shout out. Sonny Bono, man, I heard that name in a long time. Let me see. I got a few seconds. Let me pull up this. I don't know where the Alex Clark comment. I don't know why I didn't download it or screenshot it, but I know what you're talking about. Yes. Why didn't I download this today? Yeah, some reason Candace has a real bit issue with I know why I didn't download it. Because it's like really long. That's why I didn't download it. It's a really long comment, but it's good. Let's get rid of that. Y'all know I don't like reading these big old long comments. But I think she said something in the beginning I think was very interesting. So let me start with that. Let's see how inspired I am. When Candace first launched her so-called Davidic crusade to defend Charlie and uncover the truth behind his assassination, she accused me of being unfazed by his death and publicly condemned me for giving an interview to the Wall Street Journal a week later, calling my timing and tone icky and insinuating that I and TPUSA were somehow exploiting Charlie's death in advance to advance our mission. It should be noted that I was the only TPUSA contributor who declined all media for the first week. Normal people don't respond to death the way they did, she has attested. But we responded the only way Charlie would have wanted. One, empowering law enforcement allies like Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, two men Charlie himself advocated for, to secure the positions within this administration to pursue justice of his killer, and two, working tirelessly to ensure that Charlie's message and the legacy were amplified across the globe. Exactly what that Wall Street Journal article did. That was the beginning of Candace's tirade against the very people Charlie called his closest friends and mentors. She stopped just short of outright accusing them of orchestrating his death, preferring instead to just asking questions, say the vibes are off, or otherwise insinuate what she didn't have the courage or legal standing to claim directly, likely fearing another defamation lawsuit. I'm still surprised she hasn't gotten sued into oblivion. I will say that. I'm kind of surprised she hasn't gotten sued into complete and utter poverty at this moment. Candace has said she was virtually incapacitated with grief for days following Charlie's death, that she couldn't bear to speak to the media about it. Yet, by her own later admission, this was false. While defending her incoherent CNN interview, she excused her erratic answers by saying it was recorded a couple of days after Charlie's death. She now says that it was 2 weeks after his assassination. I was icky and self-seeking for talking to the media a week after his death to honor Charlie's legacy, mind you. But when Candace jumped up to do a CNN interview about conspiracies, she started not even honoring him a couple of days after his death. She's Charlie's guardian angel. Cool, makes sense. Since then, she's been weaving strings of evidence connecting Charlie's mentors and allies, IG, everyone at TPUSA is involved in the cover-up, to sinister motives, all while accusing them of mismanaging or profiting from his death. Candace positioning herself as Charlie's self-styled David claims she's only seeking truth, but it's become increasingly clear that she's projecting, doing precisely what she's accusing us of doing, leveraging Charlie's death for brand awareness and personal profit. Unlike David, however, Candace hasn't slain a giant. She's been sparring with lightweight libtard CNN reporter and somehow still losing. Shout out, if y'all want to, that is Alex Clark from, I forgot the name of his, what's the name of her podcast? It is called, I forgot. I don't know, something about these boots. Candace does not like her boots. Cultural Atafakari. That. So check her out over there on the X, if you are on the Twitter. All right, let's see if we got this ready. She is not ready yet. So we're going to give that a second. I'm going to get back over here. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Wait, what's that say? Wait, who's getting paid $700 a post? That's wild. Okay, real quick. Thank you so much. Very kind, Sammy. With the $5 super says, I just want to know what Candy thinks about Lord Kanye seeking forgiveness from a Jew. Hey. Okay, so if we look, shout out to that. That's a great question. If we look on her page today, we can kind of get a feel for what she's going to talk about, if you will. And hold on one second. All right, so we know what she's going to talk about. We know she's going to be talking about, that looks like Mark Levin. That's Allie Beth Stuckey. I don't know who this one is, though. This one right here, the guy with a hoodie on, I don't know who that is. So I'm going to go on a limb. I don't think she's going to talk about Kanye. I also don't think, I'm going to go on a limb, I don't think she's going to talk about that CNN interview. I could be wrong. and I'll be definitely happy to be wrong, but I don't think she's going to talk about it because it does not look good for her. And there's no real way to couch it, no way to finesse it, no way to spin it into a way that looks better because it looks horrible. It looked horrible. She came across just flat and combative. And whether you like the woman or not, that's a whole nother game. If you think, what's her name? Elle Reeves. By the way, she's hilarious on Twitter. So make sure you check her out as well. But if you follow Elle Reeves over there, she does a fantastic job. And she's, she doesn't hold back anything. I think it's kind of dope. But even if you like Elle Reeves or you don't like her, that's not the argument I'm making. It's fair to say that she came across as in control. All right, so your girl is here. Let's see what she's got.
I just want to check in to see if everybody's feeling okay because there are a lot of people online who are coming undone. What is it about the Charlie Kirk investigation? What is it about Charlie Kirk's assassination that is causing so much panic? They're saying I faked the text messages again, the ones I showed regarding Ben Shapiro. They got AI analysis. These are fake. They're sending experts, quote unquote experts, out to diagnose me and my show, and they've decided we're a cult, okay? Over the weekend, Grok, literally the AI robot, crashed out. He crashed out. He couldn't keep up with the lies about me. And so then he stated, the robot on top of a trend, that Candace Owens has accused Marcus Hale of murdering Charlie Kirk this past October. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to say that it's kind of weird how the only people that seem to believe the Fed story are Zionists, and they demand that we accept the Fed story, and their panic is making me think that we're getting closer to something, and that something is pretty big, and it's going to imply a lot of people. I don't know. Today I'm going to tell you guys about a particular person who is connected to Charlie Kirk and January 6th. So welcome back to Candace.
January 6th? How January 6th catching strays? What does January 6th do? Oh, my goodness. But like I said, I don't think Kanye is going to get it, and I don't think that interview is going to get it. But let's go.
Okay, so something that I want to say right at the top here before we get further into the Charlie Kirk story and speaking about January 6th and how somehow that's connected. There's something I learned that's bothering me. I'm just going to put it out there, see if it bothers you as well. But I learned via tips that the feds immediately seized the footage at Timpanogos Hospital. Okay, Timpanogos Hospital. Remember, this is the hospital that it was quite strange that they moved to take Charlie to because it was further and also less equipped than UV Hospital. Like it was like UV was a trauma 1 and Timpanogos was trauma 3. And a bunch of people said very strange that they took him here. And then it got strange because we started hearing from other people that he was definitely at UV Hospital. It was very weird. Anyways, I'd like to add to that by saying that on the day that Charlie was shot, for whatever reason, Kash Patel injects himself into it, the feds seized all of the footage at the hospital that Charlie was brought to at Timpanogos. That doesn't make sense to me. Nothing makes sense to me in this whole story, so this is just kind of the icing on, on the top here. Not even the icing on the top, but why would they move to seize that footage? How is that going to help their investigation? What's happening inside of Timpanogos? How is that going to help their investigation, their immediate boots on the ground investigation into who shot Charlie Kirk? They're on a manhunt. Why are they going, okay, let's at first grab the footage at Timpanogos? Does that make sense? Were you worried? Did a nurse call 911 and say, oh, a guy just ran in here with a gun and you need to seize the footage because that's going to help you track him down? If that didn't happen, why are you seizing that footage? I don't know. With everything that is going on, and I would say almost the lack of information that we have at Timpanogos, not a single person who captured them pulling up, nothing, despite the fact that there were news cameras outside waiting, oddly from like a New York news channel. We have not seen anything regarding that we can build in competently on our timeline that would let us know what time in particular Charlie arrived at the hospital. And I feel like something's amiss if the feds move to grab the footage inside of the hospital immediately and outside of the hospital immediately. So just putting it out there. If you maybe were somebody who has footage and saw that black SUV pull up at the hospital, please get that to us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com, because it's starting to bother me. Something there is starting to feel amiss. Everything's amiss.
Everything's a mess.
Anyway,
Oh my
there also
gosh.
happens to be another interesting constellation that's building here, because, as I said at the top, there is something about this investigation into Charlie Kirk and who assassinated him that is causing extremely powerful people to panic. A network of powerful people. And by powerful people, I mean the feds. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to wonder if every major publicly traumatizing event may have actually just been organized by the feds. And rather than blaming themselves, the strategy that they always employ is to get out a narrative, a sloppy narrative, like we saw this time with the Charlie Kirk assassination. That is one thing that I will say is so amazing. The only thing that has been amazing about the Charlie Kirk assassination is that it has brought the left and the right together. And what I mean by that is typically we're ready to take the Fed slop. This time it was the messages, obviously. And they're like, oh, my dad's MAGA. He was MAGAing too hard. And the left was supposed to go, see, it's his dad's fault. MAGA's bad. And then the right was supposed to go, look, he trans person bad. This time, though, we all went, this is too evil. It feels orchestrated. And do you guys always do this? Like, is this what you guys do? That definitely, now that I'm reflecting, and I am including myself in this, that was kind of my old vibe, left or right. That was definitely the vibe of January 6th, right? We all took the bait. Just own it. Okay. If you're a lefty, own it. You were like, MAGA is bad. If you're on the right, own it. We were like, the left is bad. They're overthrowing an election. We did it. On January 6th, 2020, I can tell you where I was. I was 9 months pregnant, my first child, and I was super MAGA at this time. I would have definitively gone to this Stop the Steal rally, but I was just too pregnant to go. And I was living in DC, so it was just down the street from me. And I reflect on that and I think, wow, that saved me, because I could have been swept up in what happened on January 6th. I could have been there. We all know how the story goes. Trump hosts this speech. He has this rally. And then afterward, people, quote unquote, storm the Capitol, break through the barriers, and there's an insurrection. And CNN is showing these clips and the footage. And it's funny for me, especially because I was right up the road. And as a resident of DC, literally living there. And I was thinking how strange it was. I'm sitting on the couch with my husband, and we start getting all these phone calls, like from my sisters and family members asking if we're okay. And we didn't have the news on, and we're like, yeah, we're okay. So strange that you're calling. We don't even hear any noise. And it was actually the first time that there was peace in DC, meaning it was the summer of BLM riots. So it was strange that we never got called when people's cars were getting smashed and things were being burned to the ground. But suddenly we were getting phone calls because the media was there, right there. MAGA's gone too far. And they were showing all this footage and it was out of place, right? Now, I knew instantly as a DC resident that the feds were involved because of the pipe bombs. That was it. I knew they were involved when I heard that pipe bombs were mysteriously dropped off the night before at the RNC headquarters. And we just don't know who did that, because I live there, and it's the Capitol. So every square inch, there's a camera. You just can't do that. You can't just get away from being a couple of blocks away from the White House and dropping off pipe bombs, right? Anyways, this weekend, after 5 long years, finally, the person, and I'll say allegedly, because I guess we're going to have to wait for the feds to dispute this, but the person responsible for dropping off those pipe bombs was revealed to be a Fed, more specifically, a 31-year-old woman and a United States Capitol Police officer named Shawnee Ray Kirkuff, right? A reporter named Steve Baker, which deserves all of the credit on this amazing discovery. And I'm going to let you listen to Glenn Beck, who is interviewing Steve Baker, to tell you about how he came across this footage and how that went down.
When I stumbled on what I stumbled on, and because as I said, I've been pulling these threads for years, and I pulled one last Wednesday, 2 weeks ago today, rather. And when I pulled this thread, I was so shocked by what I saw, I immediately took it to a source in one of the most important, highest level investigative federal agencies in the country. I immediately took it to our sources there, and I said, you have to see this. After they looked at it for about 2 hours, the response that I got back was, holy F. And then the follow-up response was, she's one of us.
And when you find out the position, I mean, this is going to lead, it's not just this one person. This now will implicate so many people at the highest levels that had to have known because of what happened after January 6th. I mean, it's I mean, how big does this net get?
How big does this net get? I'm feeling this way about the Charlie Kirk investigation. A lot of people are going to get swept up in this investigation, perhaps the same people.
No offense, but did that guy actually say anything particular about the J6? I feel like he said, I feel like we were in the middle of a conversation. I don't think did he actually say, maybe I was missing it. Maybe I missed it. I don't think he said anything about the actual J6 event. He just said this person, somebody, one of us. But yeah, okay. No, he didn't. Not the net, Yellow Wild. All right, let's go. Let's finish up.
That are going to get swept up in the January 6th. And it's not going to be this left or right story, right? Now, much more is going to come out. I'm not here to cover all of January 6th and what they have been unpacking. More will come out in the coming days. What we do know is, like I said, this was a 5-year investigation. It involved forensic analysis. A CIA spokeswoman, Liz Lyons, stated that Shawnee Kirkhoff, the alleged person who dropped off these pipe bombs, worked in Capitol Police campus security. She lives in Alexandria, Virginia. She is apparently now under the watch of law enforcement officers because the Blaze News editor-in-chief decided to pull up to her house to just kind of see if any action was happening at her home. And then he instantly got stopped by local police before they allowed him to leave. Now, surprise, surprise, I think it's always the feds, and we might be being ruled by criminals. Like, I don't know, Jeffrey Epstein who?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
We're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, Trumpy. Now, if we are allowed to follow this idea that the feds are behind major politically divisive events, then we have to ask ourselves who exactly was behind organizing the Stop the Steal rally event itself. And interestingly enough, on the quote-unquote Republican side, Christian Zionist pastors were heavily involved in not just influencing the public, right? Understanding right away, telling the public, the Republicans, that we had to fight for justice. They went out immediately following the election results. One person was Lance Wallno. Okay, I want you to remember this guy's name, Lance Wallno. Immediately, just 3 days after the election of 2020, on November 6th, he publishes this onto his Facebook page, okay? It says, "We're going to expose the fraud and stop the steal. The Lord our God is with us, and we were built for this battle. Be strong and courageous." So that's 3 days after.
Isn't that what isn't that what Candace says? I mean, this could be on Candace's page just as sure as it could be on Lance Wallnau's page. Like, Candace has said this. She's going to go to war with everybody on the planet. But Lance Wallnau is not he's a wackadoodle. But at least we know he's a wackadoodle, and I think he knows he's a wackadoodle. But doesn't Candace say, Candace could have probably said this exact sentence. The exact sentence is crazy, man. Let's go. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet.
Stop the steal, be strong, be courageous. And Lance, who is a charismatic preacher, wasn't the only charismatic preacher or pastor that instantly threw their weight behind, quote unquote, stopping the steal.
Wait till she finds out that Lance Wallnau is a part of the NAR. Wait till she hears that.
Actually, 4 out of the 6 protest permits that were issued on January 6th were issued to independent, charismatic Christian groups. Okay.
Sadness.
15 of these pastors and leaders surrounded Trump at the White House leading up to the January 6th Stop the Steal rally telling him that the war was now spiritual. So they're in his ear. This is spiritual. This is what you have to do, Mr. President. Okay. There's an article about that. It's the new Apostolic Reformation
told you.
drove the January 6th riots. So why was it overlooked by the House Select Committee? This person asks, okay? NAR, I brought this up to you before. Lance
Told you.
Wallnau is in this article. So is Sean Foyt. Now you're thinking these names might sound familiar. Certainly Sean Foyt, I brought him up to you regarding TPUS Faith, who started to lead these events that they were having. So who is Lance Wallnau? Well, he is one of these NAR preachers, like I said, who came up with their 7 mountain mandate, okay? Charlie began to become very interested in the 7 mountain mandate. I would say like he became mesmerized by the 7 mountain mandate. He became friends with Lance Wallnau. I'm going to let you listen to Lance himself describe this 7 mountain mandate in his own words.
Okay. 7 Mountain Mandate, I've talked about this before on my channel. It's a non-Christian principle. It's not a Christian idea. The New Apostolic Reformation, and it's a false teaching as well. So Candace has picked up that there are false teachings in Protestantism that are on the fringes, which is kind of funny. They're fringe, crazy, wackadoodle theories in Christianity and on the Protestant side. So now she's now the aficionado. She knows nothing about it. She's just going to go out here and smear these people and just whatever she can get away with, she's going to try to get away with it. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I want to talk to you for a moment about this concept called the 7M Mandate. In reality, it started with a conversation I had in the year 2000. I had been talking to Lauren Cunningham, who's the founder of Youth with a Mission. And Lauren was sharing with me about a conversation he had had with Bill Bright. The two of them were visited, actually, by the Lord within the same 24 hours. And God spoke to them and said they had a message to give the other man. And the message was that there are 7 molders of culture, or 7 world kingdoms, and that he who could take those kingdoms could take the harvest of nations. Now, this illustration is the way I see it. I look at it this way. I see those 7 molders of culture as being the religion mountain, as a metaphor for something you've got to take or climb. Then we have education, we could say, family. These are in no particular order of importance. They all represent the forces that shape societies and nations. Government, media, art, which is the entertainment mountain, and business, which is where we have the economics mountain happening.
Let me real quick, because I see a lot of people asking the exact same question. So let me real quick, we're going to take a little side quest, if y'all are okay with that. NAR is the idea in the Bible. We know the 12 apostles, right? That Jesus Christ commissioned to share and spread the gospel. Those are the 12 apostles, the 11 plus Paul. Got you. Okay. The New Apostolic Reformation is this false teaching that we have modern day apostles. So just like there was Paul and Peter and John and James, we have modern day apostles that do very similar things in today's parlance. It's a false teaching. So that's what they're talking about. And so this wackadoodle here that's talking about the 7 mountain mandate is this false teaching that God wants Christians to take over entertainment and take over business and take over all these different arts and parts of society in order for Jesus Christ to return. It's a false teaching. That's all. That's the only way I can say it. I can't make it sound any better than that. It's a false teaching. So therefore, Candace glomming onto this, again, it's funny because it's the blind leading the blind, right? So they're both, rats sinking at the bottom of the Titanic, just fighting each other. So that's what the NAR is, the New Apostolic Reformation. And it's rather new. It's like probably from like the 80s is when it really picked up steam. And the 7 mountain mandate is actually probably newer than that, probably like the 90s, early 2000s is when most people picked up on it. Okay, hopefully that did not confuse enough of y'all, confuse many of y'all. And I don't know. I guess at this point, I guess Israel's off the hook now, I guess, because we're talking about J6. I don't even know how we got here. So hopefully that made sense. Thank y'all so much. Look at some people saying thank you. Shout out to y'all. You know what? We got to clean the palate. We got to clear the palate. Y'all, thank you so much to the very kind supers right here. Shout out to, look at this. Carlos has been a member, just became a member. Shout out. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Now look at this. Thank you, Sir K, with the $2 says this. She is sick, psychotic, if you will, like the Joker. I don't understand how she's getting away with this, does this with a straight face. That's pretty impressive. I'm going to have to give her that for sure. Thank you so much for that. And MT coming in with the $5. How does the left framing a bunch of people on the right constitute coming together? Which leftist was arrested on J6? It was against the right. I don't think Candace cares about that. I'll be honest with you, MT. I don't think Candace cares. She just wants to spin a narrative and put herself in the middle as the hub of all of this shenanigans. Because she's exposing all of her audience to this NAR, Lance Wallnau shenanigans, foolishness, and they're going to be just as confused as y'all were. Because I know Candace is not going to explain it. So shout out for sure. Thank you again for that. And see you coming in with the $2. Her show is a snooze fest. Prefer your commentary. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Here, we're going to wrap this up right here. Slayer with the $5 super says this. Candace, feelings and knowing is very NAR-like. That's a good point. Shout out. All right, let's get done. Let's go.
Happening also. Now, these 7 fields of influence are very powerful. So powerful, in fact, that he who occupies the top of those mountains can literally shape the agenda that forms nations. The foundation of the prosperity of nations is going to have to be the teaching of Jesus. The good news is you can do that covert or you can do that overt. You can be, like I always say, you could actually be following that thing from Jehovah Rophi, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Sidkenu, or Jehovah Sneaky. Because God has a way of getting you into positions, companies, businesses, nations, and communities before the devil even knows what got in there. Because the gospel is bigger than just the church mountain. It's the gospel that covers the whole earth.
So what he's describing there and what they believe is that there are new prophets, there are new apostles, they have the 7 mountain mandate. And when he is speaking about covertly, he means that, okay? This is a philosophy of infiltration. He says, but before people even know, boom, he describes it as the devil, but before people know.
Okay, Candace is correct. It is, they got new prophets, new apostles. The only thing is, though, I don't know about a philosophy of infiltration. I don't know if that's necessarily what I would have considered it. She's going to spin it because she's trying to get this covert understanding because she's got the government has been taken over by the NAR now, which, by the way, the New Apostolic Reformation is not Zionistic in its nature. They do believe that the church is taking the place of Israel, so that's a whole nother discussion we can talk about for 3 other days. So I don't think she knows I know she doesn't know what she's talking about because she just figured this out. But let's go. Let her finish up, Jason.
Boom. Everyone around them is actually working for a higher purpose.
See?
Man, I got to say, kind of sort of reminds me of what happened to Charlie, right? This is kind of where this is going. Turning Point Faith, everywhere that I'm investigating, Turning Point Faith keeps coming up. These characters keep coming up, and there's a pattern that I'm noticing that a lot of these mainstream pastors and preachers actually come from high-ranking military families. High-ranking military families that have been around for a long time, ties to the Navy, ties to the Air Force. Frank Turek, Air Force, Rob McCoy, we discussed about his background, his naval background, psychological operations. They're literally named like a fleet of ships after his father. Like there was like the McCoy Naval something. Lance Wallnau, he's no different. He graduated from a military academy. His father, Carl Wallnau, was a major in the United States Air Force. Okay, Wallnau served under General Patton. After the war, he then continued his adventures as a field engineer for Standard Oil. Okay, building high-pressure liquid propane installations throughout political revolutions in the world. So he would go and do that in Haiti and Cuba, Dominican Republic, places that I would argue that we cause a lot of drama in. I'm just saying. So Lance fits the pattern well. And before I tell you how he is very connected to Turning Point USA Faith, I do want to also be clear that Frank Turek stands out because he flat out acknowledged on one of his podcasts that NAR was a cult, actually darker than a cult. Take a listen to what Frank Turek said about NAR.
So technically a group, and NAR stands for what again?
I'm sorry, the New Apostolic Reformation.
That's Bill Johnson out there in California, Northern California. We'll talk about him in a minute. But Word of Faith movement, they don't necessarily add, subtract, multiply, or divide, but their hermeneutic, the way they interpret the scriptures, is aberrant.
Yes.
And they interpret the scriptures in such a way that their practice follows this aberrant theology that they have, and they wind up doing things that are more new agey or more even occult-like than they are Christian.
I agree with I agree with Frank. I don't disagree with Frank much anyway, and that was right on the money. Yeah, Bill Johnson from Bethel Church. Yep. Bill Johnson is an apostle, lowercase a. I don't see what he said was wrong. Let's see what Candace got to say though, because she got some wisdom here.
The occult, and that is correct. Now, Frank Turek, this didn't stop him. It didn't make him go warn Charlie about this in any way, as these people began to infiltrate his organization. And Lance Wallnau worked his way into Turning Point USA. I had a phone call with someone, by the way, who's extremely close to this current administration, and they said, completely offhandedly, we were not even really discussing Charlie, but then they said, something that's really weird. I was at Charlie's memorial. She said, when did Turning Point become so faith-focused? She's like, I remember, obviously, Charlie always spoke about his evangelical faith. She's like, but when you guys were running around starting all these Turning Point chapters, it was all about free markets and capitalism. And she was like, and I was at the rally, and it was suddenly faith, 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 pastor, 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 pastor. And I said, that is actually interesting. That is true, that it just kind of started, and then it was almost the biggest thing about Turning Point. It's really interesting to consider that. Turning Point suddenly got super de-duper faithful with what I would say is an interesting cast of characters, the wrong characters. Okay, Rob McCoy leading that frontier, as we know. What people don't know publicly is that Lance Wallnau was working with him. Okay, he was intimately involved, and more importantly, he was financially involved. Sources within Turning Point's faith department tell me that Lance was running the show behind the scenes through funding, that he put a ton of money into Turning Point USA faith operations. Now, I guess a better way for me to state this, because I want to be super clear here, is that Lance Wallnau, who is from a military family and who is saying that he believes in infiltration as a means to climb mountains and overtake society, however he just described that, right, was privately directing large sums of money into Turning Point faith. Okay, he's friends.
So just in case you lost track and you might have forgotten, there were Jewish donors that were shifting and moving large swaths of money. Now there are NAR yahoos doing the exact same thing. I know. Who do we point the finger at? Where do we get our pitchforks and torches, and which direction do we go? I don't know. But I feel comfortable without doing a whole bunch of research saying that TPUSA and TPUSA Faith, or TP Faith, however they say it, was faithful to the gospel, because we see what happened after Charlie's demise. What was the outcome of Charlie's demise? Did people run out to take over the movie industry and take over business? Were people rushing to take over education? Or were people self-reflecting and saying, wow, what I saw was pretty traumatic. Maybe I do need to make amends with my family and go to church. How many people did you see? So the fruit of it, we're just going to look at the fruit of it. We're going to look at the fruit of it and say, hey, the fruit of Charlie's life and his demise was that people went out and rioted and burned down cities and were doing all this debauchery and all this kind of craziness, right? No, the fruit of Charlie's life was the gospel. We saw it, his life, his demise pointed people to Christ. And I feel comfortable in saying that TPUSA is not overrun by NAR yahoos, just like they're not overrun by Scientologists, because the Mappin family is Scientology or involved in Scientology. Remember the couple that wrote Candace, the donors that wrote Candace that letter? They're into Scientology. Sure, Glenn Beck is a Mormon. So, but we're not pointing fingers at them, are we? No. So I think Candace does protest too much, because the more she points the fingers at other people, the more people can point right back at the Catholic Church. The exact same things that she's talking about are running amok in the Catholic Church. Amok. So, ma'am, maybe you need to protest a little bit less. I'm just saying. All right, everybody, thank y'all so much. Let's go. Candace, what you got to say? What you got to say for yourself, Candy?
With Rob McCoy, and
She hates
he
Rob McCoy.
eventually did tour stops with Turning Point Faith, and he knew Charlie. He said Charlie was his friend. I think truly, as a society, that we need to start focusing our attention, independently. Village Crazy Lady, I told you guys about Mel on X. She's been doing great work on this, but you need to start investigating this faith military constellation. We can call it the militant faith pipeline, because it's getting a little much for me. I mean, I told you guys, you start looking at that and you wonder about other events that have happened in the past, right? There were a ton of conspiracies following October 1st, 2017, when the Las Vegas shooting happened. Largest mass shooting in American history. And it was almost instantly covered up. 58 people were murdered. More than 600 others were injured. And they told us that it was just a lone shooter, Stephen Paddock, some crazy guy who acted alone. Conspiracy theorists said it was a military operation, and there was a ton of evidence to support that, okay? Fast forward a year later, on November 7th of 2018, and there's almost this like Las Vegas shooting hangover that happens in Thousand Oaks, California. Oddly, about 40 people who were at the Las Vegas shooting were all at the Borderline bar one night when a Marine, whose family knows Rob McCoy, well, Rob McCoy is friends with that Marine, that Marine's mother decides to storm into a bar and conduct a mass shooting. And a victim of that bar shooting was a 27-year-old Navy veteran who had survived the Las Vegas shooting. So it just makes me wonder, was he a victim or was he a target, right? We have to start asking these questions. This is a headline from the BBC regarding
Why do you have to ask those
the
questions?
Las Vegas shooting, the Thousand Oaks shooting at the Borderline Bar and Grill. The Las Vegas shooting survivor being among the dead. We're not getting answers to any of these questions, and they're telling everybody that these are just conspiracies. It's always a conspiracy when you start questioning these Fed narratives.
No, they're not only just conspiracies, ma'am. That doesn't even make sense. How would you even, again, I heard somebody mention it before. It used to be the 6 degrees of separation. Well, now because of the internet and the way we're connected, the 6 degrees of separation is really boiled down to about 4, sometimes 3. You're only 3 connections away from meeting somebody that's super powerful, somebody that's way outside of your network, so on and so forth. Ma'am, you're just taking 6 degrees of separation or 3 degrees of separation and just going haywire with it. You're just going bonkers with it, Candace. There's no reason for you to make these connections or attempt to make these connections and assume that they are some kind of way or another plausible, that we need to look at them and we need to start asking questions. No, they're silly. They really are. They really are. And I think it's adorable that she went hard in the paint on Twitter. She's going hard in the paint against Elle Reeves. But she's not talking about that. She's talking about J6. She's talking about the Las Vegas shooting. She's talking about all these little ancillary things that really nobody was asking these questions. Everybody wanted to hear you address either Kanye West or talk about that CNN interview. Those are probably the top 2 things that people want to hear today. You talking about something that nobody was even asking about. I had to look it up. I'm like, I don't even remember the Las Vegas shooting in 2017. I had to look it up. So it just seems like she's wasting time. She knows that this is not what people are tapping in for. And she knows that what people want to hear, you address this situation going on with CNN, that we know that you're not going to do that. We just knew it. We knew it. And we know that you hate Rob McCoy. That's what we also know. Those are two things we knew.
One survivor said that the group of them were meeting up for a second time in about a year, having, I guess, like a little Las Vegas reunion, and that's why they were all there. The point being is, following this, a month after this, Rob McCoy then gets elected mayor of Thousand Oaks. He's mayor for a year. And I'm just starting to ask a lot of questions about what is happening here. Who is funding these groups? Who is funding these pastors? Who is funding these churches? We're getting a lot of weird stories about these churches that are coming out. I shared something over the weekend about Romanian sex trafficking on my X feed that is involving one of these churches, one of these big churches out in California. And I'm saying it's time to start prodding the narrative, because I'm thinking
We could only if we can do the same thing about the Catholic Church. If we can do the same thing about the Catholic Church and your actual podcast, Candace, I don't care if you can dog walk all of them. Just allow us to look at your books as it relates to your podcast. And that's what we want to do. If we can look at your books, Candace, and where your funding is coming from, I don't care what you do with the NAR and the Seven Mountain Mandate, you can knock yourself unconscious. I just want to go over your books. That's what I want. How about that? Deal? What we got?
that perhaps faith has been hijacked. And like I said, and we are going to have some explosive stuff for you on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday is crazy.
That we had discovered about this Charlie case.
Oh, crazy.
The faith element is compelling. And I am not convinced that these people that stand on stages and tell you to stop following Tucker Carlson are working on behalf of the Lord. Okay? I don't think that that's the case. I think these people that are telling you that you are not allowed to question Israel or you're going to go to hell are not working on behalf of God. I think that they worship specific people with military ties. In fact, they are just following orders. But there's a picture here that's emerging that we should not ignore. So we will pause there before we get into some of these bizarre responses that I've been going through, militant responses that I've been going through on X from Christian Zionists. We'll be right back.
Militant.
All right, you guys.
Yeah,
Gonna
they're
tell
militant,
you about
y'all.
Preborn because you
They're
know
militant, y'all. They're militant. Y'all, bless her heart. That woman is insufferable. Did you guys catch the CNN interview on the September 26th? She said financial reports would come out soon. Now, November 10th, by the way, the mappings are QAnon, huge. Shout out to MC. Thank you so much for that $5 super. We saw that. I watched the interview. It was very interesting, I have to say. Thank you so much for that. MC again with the $2. Charlie got faithful, hence why he dumped her. That's it. I really believe Charlie realized that this woman is not a Christian. She talks Christianese. She's a New Ager with a veneer of Christian disguise, but that's really it. Let's go right here. Thank you so much, Slayer Princess. $5 says this. NAR has a lot of mystical works-based elements. Absolutely. I'm saved only by Jesus and what he did for me. Shout out. Absolutely. And man, thank you so much for that, MC, Slayer Princess. MT, what do you say? So now it's bad to have your family serve the country. I don't understand. Like, how is that a bad thing? Shout out to everybody who served in the military. Shout out. We don't judge you. And if your parents or somebody in your family served, we don't judge you. We're not looking at you sideways. We say thank you. I do want to say this. Thank you very much to Hannah with the $5 super right here. Says this. Is this the attempt to divide Protestants now? Almighty God is not the author of confusion. This is all confusion. I would say yes from Candace's standpoint. From my standpoint, no. It's just the blind leading the blind. That's all that is. But I thank you very much for the $5 super. Candace is just searching for straws. Searching for straws. And I don't know. Let me keep this going real quick because I think she's back from her commercial break already. Avengers Assemble. Will Candace turn on all her fellow podcasters? Thank you for the $4 super. I won't be surprised. Can I say that? Is that a cop out? I won't be surprised when she does. There gonna be some that catch her strays, absolutely. And I do want to say thank you, Jackie, for the very kind $20 super. Jackie Blue says this: I watch you every day, just thanking you. I love that you are a true follower of Jesus, and you make me laugh always with truth. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the very kind super. Let's bring your girl back in here, y'all. Candace, come on back up here to the front of the church. Let's see what you got to say. That face, Jason. How do I keep landing on some of these faces? Hold on. That one's a good one. That was pretty funny. All right, let me get this in. Let's go. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Churches and these mega pastors, and what I was just referring to in the monologue was in California, where a lot of these mega churches are. There's been another mega church pastor that was accused of trafficking children. They have trafficking children from Romania, of all places. And that former megachurch pastor, I'm going to give you his name here, Paul Havsgaard, right? A missionary. Again, this element of missionary, going around the world on these missions. Something is just stinking to high heaven. And I'd like to press my finger here. And I don't particularly love the reaction that we're seeing from Christian Zionists right now. I don't even know how to describe what is happening over in Christian Zionist land. It is wacky. It is definitively
Here's something I got to pick up.
Anger, there's tears, there's frustration.
Anybody who disagrees with Candace is a Christian Zionist. You could just be like, hey, Candace, I don't like XYZ. Then you're a black Zionist. You know what, Candace, I don't like that you have that blue cup on your desk. Then you are anti-blue Stanley Cup Zionist. Everything is punctuated with Zionist. Like this is just silly and it's deflected. But I mean, this is why I opened up the show by asking what happens when you take in copious amounts of conspiracy. You begin to I think you just become paranoid, and the brain rot is really real. So let's finish up. Let's go.
Frustration, there's fatigue, there's defeat, and of course, there's biblical scripture, right? When my show hit #1 globally last week, it was just an all-out virtual war. Seth Dillon from the Babylon Bee tweeted this.
Shout out, Seth.
He obviously just tweets a verse trying to make it seem like, again, this is what they do, Christian Zionists. They will find a verse to be petty and like use scripture to justify who they just want to insult me or Tucker Carlson. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Okay, like that's not like that is, are you out of your mind? Actually, I didn't sell my soul, right? All of you guys did. I had to literally build from scratch because I was rejected everywhere, plus canceled. You shut down, you went after my sponsors, you emailed people, you got me banned from Australia. I actually did the exact opposite. I didn't sell my soul, and I said what was right about what was happening in Gaza. So there's that. Joel Berry, who also was at the Babylon Bee, so real funny guys, wrote this. In the last year, Candace and Tucker have given our side nothing but demoralization, division, confusion, and conflict. Their impact on the right has been devastating. They've made us weaker, and they've won nothing except clicks and ad revenue for themselves. Pathetic. Strange. I've never been on the same side as Joel Berry. I just want to clarify that. I am never on the side of people that cheer on kids being killed and churches being bombed and insinuate, as he did, that even the Christians in Gaza aren't really human beings and that they're all supporting Hamas, which is basically justifying a genocide, right? Justification of genocide. I have never been on your side. Then there were these compounding lies, okay?
Okay, I got to stop for a second, y'all. I'm sorry. I have to stop for a second. And this is where, and again, the reason I brought up the text message and tweet exchange where Candace got her date wrong, because I just want you to see, like, the woman just tells fibs. She just tells lies. She just lies. I mean, I don't know another way to say it. And I don't want people to come across thinking I'm just being mean and whatever like that. But I found the tweet that Seth Dillon posted, and I'm just going to bring it up. And you know what? I'm just going to let you all, as when I was a school teacher, I would let my students look at it for a while before they made an assessment. Just look at it and tell me what you don't notice, especially if you're a Twitter head, if you're familiar with Twitter and X. Tell me what you don't see here. And you know what? You know what? I just thought about it. You know what, Candace? This is what I think about Candace.
But I don't like little lies. When there is one lie, there's 20.
Okay, real quick, tell me what you notice here. You don't. Does anybody? No, Candace is not tagged to this. Candace's name is not in this. Am I missing something? Now, maybe it's in there later on, but in this opening salvo, in the tweet, Candace is not even mentioned. He says, and what does it benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Mark 8:36. There's no comment to Candace in here. Like, there's no comment. Like, the man just quoted a scripture. This could have been about anything. This could have been about a crypto bro. This could have been about the guy that stole his change at Starbucks. This could have been about anybody. It does not have to be. Why does Candace immediately think that because he posted this on the 6th of November, which was, I guess, was that the same day? I don't know. But it doesn't have anything in this right here, has nothing to do with Candace. Let me look at, hold on. Oh, now somebody brought it in here. But that's not Seth Dillon. As a matter of fact, all he did was just post this. I don't see him making any commentary to Candace, but they clearly translated this as being such. He does not say anything to her. Okay, that was just my little observation. I'm sure it probably was toward Candace. Maybe it was a little passive aggressive, sure. But it doesn't, he's not saying anything to her. Just something I noticed. All right, let's bring this back in. All right, let her go. Oh, Jason, come on, these stops. These freeze frames are crazy, Jason. Let's go.
Obviously, last week we watched Ben press Megan on stage. Very strange to see him do something like that, to see him just lie and try to pressure her with the lie. And it was also on the day that it was announced that this podcast was #1 globally. I responded on my show with the truth, showed you screenshots of what Charlie had said, told you honestly that he had kind of prevented Charlie from coming up. And that was certainly how Charlie felt. And then some guy on named Frank McCormick on X started circulating. And then, of course, I instantly made a trend that I forged the text messages, that I just made them up. And I was just going to be so risky and throw these text messages up and just lie as if I wasn't going to get debunked quickly. Anyways, this is what he wrote on there. Candace Owens recently posted what she claims are more text messages from Charlie Kirk. He asked ChatGPT to analyze. Look at this next one. If you want to skip over to the next, he analyzed the bubble design, the profile placement, the header layout, font, spacing, color, balance, and he discovered that these were digitally fabricated. Bro, you didn't have to do any of that. You could just ask me to show you the messages. I show messages on this show. Like, I'm happy to show you guys this live. So just to give you the receipts here. Wait, Skylar, can you tell me in my ear, what did the message even say? Because I can look it up. Just give me like a sentence. Okay, keep going. Okay, hold on.
This is so funny. They have her so bothered that they got her doing this in real
The way
time.
that it's spaced. Can you give me the sentence after that? There we go. That'll work. We just have to treat him like noise. Are there typos in that? Here we go. I found it. There we go. A little bit of typos. There we go. Okay, here we go, guys. Just to show you this, just looked it up on my phone. These are not made up text messages. You probably want to see the date here.
They got
See
her
the time
shook.
sliding. Hold on. We did not make up these messages. Okay. Iron sharpens iron. It's not a dominance partnership. Each hand washes the other. It is what Christ talked about as true partnership, reliant yet separate. None other dominant. Of course, there is struggle, disagreement, but each side gets stronger and sharper because of the other. This is how
What are you
us
talking about?
describing our partnership. These are just real. Like, what an absolute nonsense to think that I would make up text messages. Like, it's just such a nonsense. I don't even know what would be the point of that. What would be the point of that? Okay. I was very clear at the beginning of this entire thing, no fakeness and no gayness. I asked that if you didn't get along with Charlie, you don't think that you could just drop $1 million and then rewrite history. Okay. You might have money. We have truth. That's what's on our side. Also, to build upon that, I saw a clip of Ali Stuckey, who I very much like. I've been clear about that. I very much like Ali Stuckey. I'm very surprised she's working with Alyssa Cordova, but she's also in very rare form. I don't know what's driving that. And she kind of, I guess, I don't know when this live was taken, presumably over the last week. I just saw it circulating. Said to people that we shouldn't be asking these questions about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Anyways, I'm not going to put words in her mouth. Listen to Ali Stuckey.
I'm just really tired of some of y'all not thinking. I really am. You say that you're seeking truth and asking questions, but you're actually just outsourcing your critical thinking and your question asking to someone else, and you're never really asking questions. You're never saying, does that make sense? Or what could be the other side of that story? Or what is the alternative explanation for that? Or are these two things actually connected by evidence? Or does it just sound compelling? This is not a Netflix series. It's not an Agatha Christie novel. You're not watching a whodunit movie. These are people's real lives. And if you are implicating a real person in a murder plot, you better be 100% sure that it is true and backed by hard evidence.
What's wrong with that?
Think. Turn on your brain. The thoughts we think and the words we say not only affect real people's lives, but they carry weight in eternity. We are responsible for these things. I'm going to take that seriously, but you should too. Look, y'all, I don't even want... I've just been wrestling with this so much over the past few weeks. I don't want the drama. I don't have the time and energy that it takes to go through, to make all of these claims first is incredible, but then to go through and debunk all of these claims, I don't have that time. I don't have that energy. I don't have that capacity. I don't.
Look, Ali, I just think she should take a break. Like, I genuinely didn't even know she was going through it like this. Like, I don't think we asked her for any assistance at all, actually. I did all the work, and people sent me stuff, and then we...
Did she ever say Candace? This is the second time Candace has inserted herself into something that, sure, I think we all can agree that she's probably talking about Candace. But you could also just the same say, okay, fine. You didn't say my name. You didn't say you were talking to me. I'm going to let it keep on rolling. Or so? Like, why do you immediately, and she's not talking to you. She's talking to, and even more than that, she's talking to the people that follow you. I don't know why why does she insert herself and feel that she has to do this? And again, I don't know if Ali is team doing the most, but I think she made a great point. Like, I don't think she was wrong in what she said. Let's finish up.
Put together a timeline. And here's what I want to say, because you're saying it's real life. It was Charlie's real life, Ali. That was Charlie's real life when you saw him sitting there and he got shot. That was his real life. So I feel like that's the part you're missing because you're so worried about the surrounding cast of characters who have been literally caught lying.
Here we go.
They lied. That's why we're here. Okay. We didn't just randomly pluck people up from obscurity. Okay. These are people who said he had blood on him. He's amazing. He was so amazing, but he walked away from Charlie as he was bleeding out. His real life. That was his real life. Okay. So that's what's on the line right here is he's not here anymore. Maybe you're not worried about him. But I am. I'm actually worried, and I want to know what happened to Charlie Kirk, okay? And why I feel like you and so many Christian Zionists just kind of wanted to turn him into a ghost, like, Charlie the friendly ghost, and are not interested at all. And if you're looking for real-life Agatha Christie stuff, in real life, people's necks don't stop 30-06 bullets.
Oh, my
In real life.
gosh.
That's all I'm saying. In real life, when you spend millions of dollars on security, on your security detail, they don't have you sitting like a sitting duck and forget to have an ambulance behind you. In real life, I worked for Turning Point USA, and I know what does not make sense in terms of the timeline of how this event came together. And in real life, if somebody suspects you in a murder for any reason whatsoever, and you can put something out publicly that will clarify a fact that isn't correct, if you say it's not correct, you would do that. You wouldn't hide. In 4 seconds, I would say, the reason why I was on the phone with so-and-so had nothing to do with anything. So people are following their instincts because they should. But I just
Raise your hand if you would honestly think that anybody, Rob McCoy, Mike McCoy, Andrew Colvett, Frank Turek, if they could literally show any information that would actually make Candace calm down, like phone records and giving her their location. Like, raise your hand if you really think that's going to stop. That would stop her. And she said, "Oh, I see your call log. You really did call Erica. I see that, and you really called your dad right after. I see that." Rob McCoy, you call 9 pastors on your group text immediately. Oh, okay, I see that. Raise your hand if you really think that'll stop her.
want to remind you, because it bothers me, that that was Charlie's real life. Okay? That was Charlie's real life, Allie. Right? Move on for that. See, you're stressed out. I'm stressed out too, to be honest with you. And we're not the only people that are stressed out, because apparently Grok is stressed out because it can't keep up with the lies that are being spread about me. So he had some sort of a software crash out. This was him being like, I'm tired, and sitting in his car. I'm just going to show you what Grok said at the top here. No, I want the Grok headline. Candace Owens accuses Turning Point USA of Charlie Kirk assassination role. And then it says, Candace Owens alleged Turning Point USA orchestrated the October 15th, 2025 assassination of its founder, Charlie Kirk, in Phoenix, Arizona, by former volunteer Marcus Hale, who police say acted alone with no evidence. Ben Shapiro publicly condemned Owens's claims as evil. And then, yeah, it's just, none of this is real. Like, you guys are exhausting not just Allie Stuckey, you're exhausting Grok. So many lies are being made up about me. If you don't have time to look at the facts and see what we've come up with, and that's fine, but you're not required to interject here. I just want everybody to know that. Grok, Allie, everyone, you are not required to take part in this, and we're not stopping, okay? And I just sense that we're getting close. And when I tell you on Wednesday what we discovered about those Egyptian military planes,
Oh, no,
I think some more people are going to be on the run.
not Egypt.
Anyways, the oddest response came from Mark Levin, who has been kind of psychopathically obsessed with destroying Tucker Carlson for years now. He was very happy when Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox News. They don't seem to be friends. And regarding Mark Levin, if a person was actually like, you should move to Israel because it would make you happier, if that was a person, that would be Mark Levin, okay? Turning Point USA, credit to them, said, we are not canceling Tucker Carlson despite the peer pressure, despite them sending out every queen and pawn on the board to make that happen. They said he's still speaking, and not only is he speaking, but why don't you debate? Mark Levin, debate Tucker Carlson on stage. And this is how Mark Levin responded. It's incredible. And I'm actually going to roll the whole thing. It's about 2.5 minutes, but I want you guys to listen to him.
I got a very strange text this morning from Tucker Carlson. 10:16 a.m. I'll read it to you for verbatim. Good morning, he writes to me. The leadership at Turning Point has asked me to debate you at their event in Scottsdale in December. I'm happy to do it, and I hope you'll agree as well. Beyond the personal insults, which I'll try to keep to a minimum, there are real and important ideological differences between us. And I think the country would benefit from an extended conversation about them. So again, I hope you'll accept. Let me know. Thanks. The guy is desperate. He's taken a hit on his podcast. He's fighting like hell for his career. He's fighting like hell for his reputation. People are awakening to what scum he actually is. And he thinks I'm going to platform him. He thinks I'm going to help him kick up his podcast ratings. What would Charlie say? What would Rush say? What would any rational response? Here it is. I wrote him the following. My family and I want nothing to do with you. What you've become, your vile libels against my faith, millions of Christians, and in my view, what you seek to do to our country. There's nothing to debate. You're a Nazi promoter. You're the modern-day David Duke. I debate people with whom I disagree for a living, who are a lot smarter than you, but for whom I have some respect. I'm also disappointed in TPUSA that continues to platform you. It's not about free speech. You could be heard by millions regardless. Some unsolicited advice. Stop long enough to remember who you used to be and what you used to stand for. So, as expected, knee-jerk. For the record, I'm strongly anti-Nazi. Does he sound that way to you, America? Oh, you're going to hear more. But that's hardly the point. This seems like the perfect opportunity to rebut what you consider evil ideas and to do it to my face like a man. I think you jump at the chance, assuming you believe your positions are defensible. I'm offering the marketplace of ideas you often talk about. Is it possible you can't really defend, for example, what Israel has done to civilians in Gaza?
Oh, my gosh.
I said, there you go. You're not feared. You're despised. Well, you're a coward. And if you change your mind, I'm here. Thanks. You little bastard. You attacked my stepson?
Dang, Mark, tell him.
You didn't do that face-to-face, did you? You stabbed him in the back while he's serving President Trump on his second tour, while he's in safe rooms with ballistic missiles passing over his head. You little bastard. Nobody's afraid of you.
Dang, Mark.
I'd rather debate a skunk than you.
Is he good?
So let me ask you a question, y'all. Why is Candace showing us this and not addressing the CNN interview? Because she's gone down every little rabbit trail possible. She done brought the NAR up in here. She done talked about fake text messages. Why is she not talking about the CNN interview? I think we all know exactly why she's not talking about the CNN interview.
Is everybody okay? Like, what? This would be your opportunity to reveal Tucker Carlson to the world, since you say like that he's a fraud and he's lying and all of this stuff. Like, why wouldn't you readily accept that debate? Why are you so focused on canceling him? And LOL to you saying that you don't want to platform Tucker Carlson. Yeah, you know what? I decided on this podcast, I'm not going to platform Taylor Swift. Yeah, I'm not going to platform her. So if she ever wants to come with this podcast, I will not platform. Like, are you this delusional? You cannot be that delusional. You cannot be that delusional.
But the man said, let's debate. He said debate. He actually asked to debate you. Now, if Taylor Swift said she wanted to come on and you turned her down, that'd be different. But Taylor Swift is not asking to come on your show, ma'am. That's the part. Like, it just seems like you're doing this intentionally, or your audience. As I've said before, Candace Owens is an IQ test. If you follow after Candace Owens, we know something about your IQ and at least your critical thinking, your common sense, and your discernment. We know where they fall. We know what range they're on. This is crazy work, y'all.
What are you saying? Something is happening. I'm telling you guys, this is like a full Zionist crash out since Charlie died. And I just feel like they sense a very real threat to the little matrix that they established. And so much so that I'm actually proud to announce that I have finally caught the final Pokemon ball. I've long said that in terms of the names I get called in the media, I feel like I'm playing Pokemon. I just got to catch every single ball. When they try to cancel you, that's what they do. They call you all sorts of things: anti-Semitic. I've been called a self-hating Black person. I've been called a homophobe. I've been called a transphobe. I've been called crazy. I've been diagnosed as suffering from postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis, a postpartum depression. And I didn't think there was anything left for me to grab, but it's here. It's final. I've now won the game. And they are calling me a cult leader. Yeah. So because I survived all their attacks and have focused my energy on what I wanted to build and not on who I wanted to destroy, they have decided that that's because I'm leading a cult. Now, when I think of a cult, I typically think of people who say like, oh, you're going to get into heaven if you defend Bibi Netanyahu, right? It says it right here in the Bible that if you don't unfollow Candace Owens, you won't go to heaven. That to me is cult language, promising people that.
Who is saying that in all sincerity? Remember, every sentence has to be punctuated with Israel or somehow. Now we got back to Israel. I have no idea how we got here, by the way.
Their souls are somehow tied to following your instructions. I'm just trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk. Okay, that's all. I want to know who killed my friend. Well, Carrie Smith, who is the host of the podcast Deprogrammed with Carrie Smith, says that she was formerly of a cult mindset, and so she's an expert on this. And she has now watched 10 episodes of this show. She watched the Charlie Kirk series, and she has determined that if you are interested in what I have to say and what I am uncovering about Charlie Kirk's assassination, then you at home are in a cult. Take it away, Carrie.
I do think it's a cult. I think she is exhibiting several cult tactics. She's demonstrating several different tactics. I think she's using manipulative language and a lot of cluster B personality disorder behavior.
That was just today. I just saw this.
It's easy to observe that, but apparently it's not easy for some people, I guess. And I'm assuming maybe that's because they haven't been through that before with someone. Maybe they haven't experienced it before. And so this is not an episode for people who are in that cult. It's not an episode for people who are just hanging on every word and following it. And I've interacted with quite a few of you, and I'm not trying to convince you. You're obviously not going to be happy with this episode and call me all kinds of names. I've been over the weekend called every kind of a Jew lover. I'm getting paid $7,000. Why don't I go suck blah blah blah? Like just terrible, very angry things, and that's okay. This isn't for you. This is an episode for normies who are trying to figure out what's happening because, like a lot of us, they used to put a lot of trust in Candace Owens and some of these other influential figures. And they're like, what is happening? What happened to her?
So what happened to me was that I saw Charlie Kirk get shot in the throat, but I do want to, can you just bring her up for a second without playing it? I can't be the only person that's really stressed out by how she's organizing those books. Like that is like, I don't like the way those books are at all. That really is stressing me out. So, she's lucky I'm not 9 months pregnant because this would not fly. I would be organizing that. Like, why the different levels? Anyways, she's queen of diagnosing this, I guess, cluster B personality. Now, what I will say is this is, if you go back, any Fed operation, COVID, whenever you don't follow the federal narrative, if you don't listen to the government, they always diagnose you with Machiavellian, what do they call it? Like the dark triad traits, Machiavellian, narcissistic, and they say that you're in a cult. If you don't wear a mask, save lives. They did this.
All right, real quick. Shout out to this content creator, Carrie. Let's go real quick. I dropped the link in the chat. Here's her video right here. She currently has 20,500 subscribers. She's putting out some good content, it looks like. How about this one? I think it would be really great if we took a pause for the cause and we jumped over real quick and just gave her a quick little subscribe, or at least drop some green hearts in this video. Just let her know, hey, we're checking you out. The J-Wit Pod Squad is checking you out. I've already subscribed to her channel. I got the bell notification on, all that kind of good jazz. How about we do that? So while Candace is talking trash to her, how about we just come over real quick and let her know that we appreciate her for doing what she's doing, putting herself out there. She's facing the cult. Yeah, I said it. She's out there facing the cult. No, she ain't even mentioned Kanye. Nope. Kanye don't get no shine. Nobody. So you want to just let Carrie Smith say, hey, let her know we appreciate her. Thank you for doing what she's doing. While y'all are doing that, I want to say thank you to these amazing supers. Real quick, shout out, man. Look at these great people. 80% of military are Christian. They see bad things. I mean, come on. It would make sense. And I don't think Candace is factoring in where there's military bases. Maybe that's why there's military people involved in particular churches. That's not a stretch. That is not a stretch at all. But keep it going. Thank you, Captain Jax, with the $10. Candace is a woman scorned. She will stop at nothing to destroy TPUSA. Instead of bring people closer to Christ, she is doing everything she can to destroy the beautiful legacy Charlie left for us. Shout out. Very well stated. Very well stated. And that's exactly what I believe she's trying to do. Shout out to everybody who's jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I'm going to finish up the others, but I just want to say, hey, let's let Candace know that, hey, we support good content creators. So how about we just flood over there? If you haven't already checked out Carrie Smith's channel, just jump over there real quick and let her know that, let her know that, hey, we appreciate her and the such like that. That was an old school. I used to like those cartoons. Those are hilarious. Okay, let's get this going. Let's get back over here. I know y'all want to see what Candace has got to say. Let's hear what she got to say. Something intelligent. I'm sure of it. Let's go. Let's go.
The same exact stuff. You can go back, literally go back. This is their final stage of we're not getting people to behave and listen to us, so we're going to diagnose them. And she listed all of the reasons, the signs that I was in a cult, and about 7 of them. One of them is forced teaming. She says that I use inclusive language like us, we will solve this.
You do,
Again,
though.
what is it about they and we? What is it about
Uh-oh.
plurality that stresses these people out so much? These are just words. I do think we are going to solve this. I say we because all the information I have is thanks to the tip slide. So we're all kind of in this together, trying to put the
But we're
pieces
not,
together
though.
to figure out who killed Charlie. Yeah. She also says that I repeat myself constantly, that I use sarcasm. And I would say that this is sounding a lot like my toddlers who could be in a cult. Now that I'm thinking about it, she might be right because they are laughing, they are sarcastic. They definitely have used terms like we and us when they address me and their father, and they repeat themselves the whole time. So stay tuned. And then my favorite part is that she says, like, we have a phrase, and it's if you don't know, no. It's like, we don't know, no, but we know. And she says that's somehow cult. I don't know. It's a part of the cult stuff. So I guess I'm the cult of telling you to think for yourself and to trust your gut. And if something seems like it's wrong, it's because it probably is wrong. And the government telling you to violate that, to ignore your senses, to believe something that is just truly unbelievable, like a 30-06 got stopped by Charlie's neck because miracle. Yeah, trust yourself. That is kind of the goal here, is to let people stop committing to government groupthink, which is how they control us all and also make us hate each other. It is just a fact that the greatest threat to government, what this is really about, is the left and the right coming together, right? This is like the thing that they have to prevent. And this is why I am now number one in who they are attacking. I'm talking about the military industrial complex, which has been ruling our nation for a very long time. I'm encouraging people to read books to learn about the history of psychology and why they do these sorts of things like diagnose you. I'm telling people that they should homeschool their kids, right? So they don't end up like us. And when I say like us, committed to one side or the other, convinced that we have things figured out when we're shouting at each other and not looking at the real power apparatus that sits behind. So to that extent, I do understand why Tucker and I have become threat number one, showing that you can survive.
Notice something else. I found this funny. Remember, she joked about how her and Tucker's name are like synonymous with one another, but she only does that. She only mentions herself and Tucker, me and Tucker, Tucker and I. She just keeps doing it. It's funny, as if somebody's bad for they call out Tucker and Candace, which, by the way, I think TPUSA does need to stop platforming Tucker, but they're going to do what they're going to do. But I think it's funny that she said, she makes it sound like that's a bad thing, but she does it. That's crazy work. You just can't make this stuff up.
Outside of their matrix, not taking the money that makes you fearful to speak out and surviving it. But beyond that, yeah, no, I really would not say that we are leading a cult, but we're not getting rid of this. First off, we don't know, no, but we know. Okay. And it's a fact. And we are going to solve the Charlie Kirk murder. So we'll take a quick break and then I'll read some of your comments. All right, you guys, the biggest health secret that is not talked.
The biggest health secret is that we got the best live chat on the planet, on the whole planet. And you know what, our guy, look, shout out to ARP, shout out to Wise. He just blessed 5 people with memberships. If you got a membership from ARP, please make sure you remember. We're Southerners and we do that Southern thing. We say thank you. Make sure you tell ARP, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, man, for blessing, adding 5 people to the team. Thank you so much. I got to read some of these supers because y'all got some great things to say. Let's keep this rocking. All right. Right here. Her show was not number one in anything except in the listicle, Apple, Spotify, etc. She was between 5 and 14. Narrative spinning as usual. No one calls her out. Thank you so much, MT, for the $5 super. I was looking, and wherever she was there, whether she was on there that day or not, she clearly is not today, and that's why you don't hear her mention it anymore. I think that's right on the money. Thank you so much for that. Captain Jack's coming through the $10 again. Says Candace has turned her podcast into a court for her modern day witch trials, just like in Salem. Just say someone is a witch and the public will burn the witches for you. Candace is pure evil. I mean, where's the lie detected there? Where is the lie? That's exactly what she's doing. Thank you so much, Captain Jacks. I appreciate it. And then Lila comes in here. There's Lila Rose. Not that one, but our Lila Rose. Thank you so much for the $7. She says this: no fakeness, no gayness, no time stamps. There is no time stamp. That's why the Fed emails are fake. Candace Owens during CNN interview. That's a great point. And I went and looked, and I should have played that clip too of her having a discussion about not knowing that the text messages were text messages and not Discord. I went and read the transcript from her podcast that day. She says text message. So she lied so much she's confused herself. That's the part. Like she's held on to these conspiracies and these little niche little projects that she's lost the full plot. Go back and watch the video I did with Frank Turek and the gentleman from Cold Case Christianity. And the gentleman, he's a cold case investigator. And he said, think about it, and I'm paraphrasing, think about it like this. If you had a puzzle with 100 pieces in it, no matter what, there's going to be 3 pieces that are not going to be there. So basically, you have 97 pieces. So you have a choice. You either look at the picture minus those 3 pieces, or you just lose focus on the puzzle because you're focused on the 3 pieces that are missing. Because you're never going to know. We're never going to know everything about Charlie Kirk's death. We're just not. We're not going to know where Tyler Robinson got the bullets from. We're not going to know what color socks Charlie Kirk had on. We're not going to know what the third person in the 5th row was thinking 2 seconds before or 9 seconds after. We're just not going to know those things. And we have to be okay with not knowing everything. So Candace here, she focuses on those 3 missing pieces and she's missing the whole plot. Shout out to that. Thank you so much, Lila Rose. I appreciate you for being a part of it. And then you know what? Captain Jack is back. Candace is a woman scorned. I've already said this, but I agree. I'm going to read it again. Thank you for the $10 super. She will stop at nothing to destroy TPUSA. Instead of bring people closer to Christ, she's doing everything she can to destroy the beautiful legacy Charlie left for us. Let me also point out something I noticed on Twitter. Candace never refutes the argument that she does not share the gospel. She will go hard in the paint with you about the color of this cup. She will go all to crazy town about whether or not these books are in order. But if somebody says, hey, Candace, can you share the gospel with somebody? Crickets. It's just not going to happen. So shout out Captain Jacks. Thank you so much. Hannah said this: not you, Jay Witt. Candace Owens' accusations and creating confusion, division. Some division is good, wheat from tares. Some from the enemy. Allie is lovingly warning. And I agree. Hey, Allie is growing on me for sure. I'm definitely team Allie. In this regard, I'm team Allie for sure. Shout out. Thank you so much for that $5 super there. And then what does Phantom say with the 5? A 30-06 at 110 grain may not go through a human. It is meant for small animals. She should be quiet as she does not understand ballistics. So that was something I wanted to wait until we got to the trial, because I don't know what type of projectile or bullet was in the actual gun, because that's something I did not know. That's why I don't talk about ballistics, because I don't know anything. So I didn't know that you could use different types of projectiles and they'll do different types of damage. I didn't realize that. I thought they only could take a certain type of bullet, and now I learned. So shout out to Phantom for that, for the $5 super. And if anybody has a really good ballistics gentleman or ballistics person that really explains it, because again, you can shoot different types of bullets from that gun, and then therein is the question: what is the bullet that came through that gun? Not just the gun, but what is the type of bullet that was shot? Thank you so much, Lil Losty, with the $5. They still hold on to the 30-06 thing. Brandon Hera said it best in the Magic Bullet JFK video. Sometimes bullets do really weird things or weird stuff. I agree. And the gentleman from Cold Case, you just can't expect the bullet to always do the exact same thing no matter what. It just doesn't work like that. And that should not be a conspiracy. We should be able to say, yeah, I can totally get that. Thank you so much for that. With the $5 super, SW comes in and says, she is evil on a mission to destroy the body of Christ, period. Okay, I'm going to disagree with you. Candace cannot destroy the body of Christ because we are in Christ's care. He's going to take care of us. Now, Candace can destroy tares. Candace can destroy those goats that are around, hanging around the sheepfold. She can do whatever she wants to, but she cannot destroy the body of Christ because we are in our King's hands. That's it. That's our only hope and assurance, because nothing's going to stop Candace apart from God doing that. So, man, maybe he will. Maybe he'll silence her and tell her to quit and get her to stop. But at the current moment, my hope is in Christ. So I disagree to a degree, but I'm right there with you. Thank you so much for that. And look at this. Phantom with the 10 says this. Once again, Israel and Egypt are hostile to each other. Egypt General Intel Service, EGIS, and the Mossad are not friendly. EGIS and Mossad may work with the Muslim Brotherhood and the like, but that is it. Right? Yeah, really. Like, if Mossad knew that EGIS or vice versa, EGIS knew that Mossad had something to do with this, don't you think they would have already been finger pointing? They'd have been out there in the social so quick that your head would be spinning. I don't understand where Candace is going with that, but thank you so much, man, for the $10 super. And here we go, Phantom coming back around the block. Liz Wheeler has a great episode on Charlie Kirk. Liz Wheeler. Who's Liz Wheeler? I don't know who she is, but I'll look her up while I'm talking. How about that? Thank you so much for that, brother. Oh, man, ARP coming back around. What's up, family? Showing some love. Thank you, man, for the very kind super. Y'all know that if the mods can please make sure we drop ARP Wise's link in the chat. Y'all go check out my brother over there. I think I'm going to be on the show Friday if I get an invitation. I don't know. I done stood him up a couple times, so he might not even invite me back. Ms. V says this with the $5 super. Maybe we should start our own Charlie Kirk investigation series. Candace is our only suspect. Use her own evidence against her. What should we name the series? I don't know. I want a good name, though. I like that, Ms. V. Thank you for the $5 super. It's got to have some kind of candy metaphor to it. Like, I don't know. I need a funny one, though. You all come up with some funny ones. Send them to me, dearwokesy@gmail.com. The NIBEN system will be able to tell by rifling if the round was removed from Charlie, whether it was round or whether that round was shot from the same gun. Okay, shout out. Yep. NIBEN. That's what it's called. NIBEN. Thank you so much for that, Captain Jack. So let's finish this up. And thank y'all so much, y'all, for coming through, helping your boy out, keeping the studio running. Oh my gosh. Did we finish up, Candace? Candace is still talking. How's that possible? Okay, here we go. I got Candace queued in. Let's bring her in. There's little Jason. There we go. And fire in the hole.
All right, top comment from Friday's episode. Think before you type wrote Ben Shapiro was all for Candace Owens keeping it real with the Black community until she started keeping it real with Israel. And that, my friend, is a fact. And here's the thing. I don't care who you are. I'm an equal opportunity offender. If you're being stupid and what you're saying doesn't make sense, I'm going to call it out. There's nothing that's going to protect you. Being a woman's not going to protect you. Being Black, being Jewish, none of it's just not going to work if you're going to use identity politics. And right now, it is just the case that Zionists are being a little cray-cray. A lot of cray-cray, very cray-cray, and kind of dangerous. Also, I want to tell you, by the way, one of the things that she mentioned as sign of a cult was me reading comments at the end. Obviously, you guys pay for me to read these comments, and you guys compliment me, which is very kind. And so she said that me reading your comments is a cult leader tactic. So, but I'm going to keep reading these comments. U.S. flagpole guy writes, "We love you, Candace. We pray for you and your family and for truth. Fight, fight, fight." Thank you so much for that donation. Stephanie writes, "Charlie knew that you would have the strength of iron against their fighting words. When the battleground was set, you are truly armor bearer. Be my David." Yeah, they've cited that as well.
So let me make sure I have it right. I don't agree with Lance Wallnau about anything, but Lance Wallnau using battle metaphors and battle terminology, that's bad. But this woman and these super chats and these comments telling Candace to fight, 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 and battle and this, that, and the other, you're strong as iron, all that kind of stuff, that's okay. But the other people saying it is not okay. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Got you. Makes sense.
And I was like, I just shared Charlie's messages and he knew he was going to die. And that is actually, in retrospect, incredibly compelling. And I wish I had, I mean, I guess there's nothing else, there's nothing I could have done. If there's really nothing I could have done. I have to remind myself of that. Zamet writes, Candace, #1 worldwide, secret sauce. She speaks to us, not at us. Yeah. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. And we know that what they're telling us is going on is definitely not what's going on. And my requirement's pretty easy. Are you interested? They're asking you to be an idiot. Just be an idiot. It's just this narrative regarding Charlie Kirk is just, I've never seen any situation where they didn't present a shred of proof for their narrative. Not a shred of proof. They won't show us a clear picture of Tyler.
Where's your proof? That's the part that is just too much. I'm telling you, Candace Owens is an IQ test. I'm telling you. Wait, where's your proof, Candace? You asking questions is not proof. Making accusations and innuendos and insinuating things is not proof. That's not, no, you have to give evidence to contrary. Here's my evidence. I know that Tyler Robinson was in Hawaii. Here's his flight manifest. Here's his hotel arrangements, blah, blah, blah. That would be evidence. Not, I don't believe he did it because today is Monday and, hey, my achy left toe is telling me so. That's just crazy work, y'all. Candace is an IQ test. I'm telling you, man. This woman is an IQ test.
Robinson on that day, despite all the cameras, that would do a lot. If they just dropped one clear image, right? We would be like, oh, at least he was on campus. Like, at least we can get there. Nothing. They're just like, trust us 1000%. And we're going to make the physics, it's totally, everything's impossible, but just trust us. We're asking for such little. If you actually go back and appreciate how the story has unfolded, we are basically saying we would have taken the bare minimum and maybe accepted some of this narrative. They're giving us nothing and telling us to swallow it whole. We just can't do that, okay? We just cannot do that. Mickey Shaw writes, we love you.
Do y'all realize that this is the exact same thing she did with the Macrones? Does anybody notice that? This is the exact same thing. All we want is just the evidence. Give us picture. They gave her pictures. She didn't want it. Gave her birth announcement. They didn't want it. Did this and they didn't want it. Now, she just wants something more. This is wild work, man. This is so wild, man. And it's it's almost comical in a morbid type of sense. Because you're like, man, how miserable are you that you really think that this is cooking? And you really think that, who do you think is going to give you evidence that's going to be used in trial? Like, who do you think is going to really do that? I'll wait. Like, for real? That's silliness. Candace Owens is an IQ test. I'm just going to say it again. Last time I'm saying it.
You, Candace, well, you know what? Go tell that to Colt Lady. She's going to be really upset about that. Aries Girl writes, 7 million. Oh, 7 mountain mandate you're referring to. Makes me think of Satan tempting Christ and the quote from Elder Ephraim, the person who limits his mind to the name of Christ, the hour of death, the beauty of paradise, and the love of God will purge it of every demonic contemplation. The note here is Ephraim was a revered Greek Orthodox higher monk. Does that say higher monk?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with that either. And the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America. Okay, that's very interesting. What I will say is it's giving cult to say you can infiltrate in the name of the Lord, and which means be deceptive, right? You can be deceptive in the name of the Lord. It doesn't make me feel good knowing that he was putting money into Turning Point USA Faith. And like I said, we are going to have some explosive revelations on Wednesday that's going to make you rethink everything. And Turning Point Faith keeps coming up in this investigation. I think money was being interjected. And I think when Charlie raised his head and realized something was wrong, and that's why he established Doge, he made some real enemies. Charlie was too brilliant to just ask a question.
So now TPUSA Faith put Charlie Kirk's head to bed. So don't worry, Israel, y'all off the hook. So now it's TPUSA Faith and the 7 Mountain Mandate people. Y'all, this woman is, this is comical. Like, I don't think anybody could be constipated after watching a healthy dose of Candace Owens, because you're just gonna laugh it out of you. You're just not gonna. I'm sorry. It just I don't care. You're gonna get free because you're just laughing. You're gonna have those. You're gonna have 6-pack abs this summer. You all are welcome. You all are very welcome. You're gonna have a 6-pack abs. You're gonna be ready for the beach, all that kind of stuff. You'll be ready for the beach by next Tuesday, laughing at this woman because the stuff she says is totally deflected. There's no way that you can think that this makes sense. And then she go around the bases and bring back in the Egyptian plane. Y'all stop playing with me. I feel like I'm being punked. At some point, I feel like I'm being made a fool of. I think Candace is in with y'all. The whole 762 of y'all that are watching this, y'all are all in a group text. Like, how can we make Jason go crazy today? How can we make Jason go? This can't be real, man. Are y'all in cahoots with? Are y'all? Come on, man. This has all been a big old ploy to make your boy go crazy. That's what it is, man. Finish up,
He
Jason.
would have arrived at the answer very quickly. He learned very quickly. He processed information very quickly. And to the extent that he was paying attention, he would have found out. That is, that's just a fact. It is not a small thing. They tried to reduce it. It's not a small thing that Charlie suddenly was wondering about where the money was coming from and where it was going to. On that note, later on this week, we'll be having a guest join us that will speak on Friday about Turning Point's finances, and that's going to paint a big picture. It's going to make a lot of sense why some people are freaking out about this investigation, pretending to be his friend, coming up with ridiculously stupid conclusions about how I betrayed him or I lied when I said I didn't give a single interview regarding Charlie. I was in a true stage of grief. I didn't offer a single interview. Well, Alex Clark figured out, she rumbled me, that I spoke to CNN I had already scheduled CNN for my book promo, and we kept the interview on September 27th or something. And she's like, well, she lied. She spoke to CNN. That interview was supposed to be exclusively about my book promotion, my background, what brought me to this moment. And actually, Elle Reeves did not even get to my book at all. She didn't mention my book at all, which is quite stunning in retrospect by the end, because she was trying to hammer me, not on the Charlie stuff, but she was trying to hammer me so much on Zionism, Israel.
No,
kind of what she wanted to speak
that
about.
wasn't true.
And then Brigitte Macron is what she wanted to speak about. Anyways, speaking of this book, I loved seeing this online, Make Him a Sandwich. Somebody in Serbia got the book and her husband fake signed it. He forged my signature. And he wrote to her, I can't read her name, Dear Kiki, please make me a sandwich. And I can't read that, something. And then he signs it himself. He signs it XOXO Candace. I love this idea of men fake signing my book to try to get their wives to do stuff. So I had to pull that out. That's all the way from Belgrade, Serbia. I reached out to her and we're now going to send her a free signed copy because it made me giggle so much this morning.
Isn't that kind of counterproductive? That your husband's got to get you to do something? Isn't that the whole point of the book? Okay, never mind. It's an IQ test, I'm telling you.
And if you guys would like to get your copy, you can go to makehimasandwich.com. This book is doing fantastic, and we're really excited about that. Yeah. What else do I have for you guys? Thank you for supporting me. Twitter is crazy. X is crazy. I don't know why, but there's a Zionist picture that is emerging in this story. It's a faith.
Whatever. I'm done with it. All right, y'all. Candace, I'm telling y'all, man, this is an IQ test, man, and a lot of people are failing the IQ test. Let me test out my camera. All right. Real quick. This is crazy work, y'all. And I think it's adorable that the issues that were really on the table, i.e., Candace looking like a total dolt on that CNN. Again, CNN is not some kind of right-leaning hit piece center, right? So for her to go on there and look so bad, and I watched it today. I went to CNN, I paid my $6.99 for the month, and I watched it, and it's bad. It's not good. Matter of fact, you know what? I think I got another segment for y'all. Hold on, let me do that while y'all. Thank y'all so much for everybody who tapped in. Y'all are the best, man. How about, thank you, Avengers, with the $2 says, how's this? The Candinator. Candinator. You're wild. That might be good. Maybe we make maybe we'll do a series. Maybe we will. Lies. She planned to do this with Kohlberg. I'm not certain who that is, MC. Thank you so much for the $2 super. I'm not certain who Kohlberg is, but I think as it relates to the interview, the issue is that Candace, I don't think people are really that mad if you did an interview. The problem is that you drug Alex Clark as if she was doing something wrong and you yourself were doing it. That's the part people don't get, and they don't feel. That's where I believe people's problem comes into play, is that you're doing exactly what you're telling other people not to do. Most people probably wouldn't even care that you did the interview and had the date wrong. It's the fact that you act like you yourself don't do these things. That's the problem, Candace. Oh, I was supposed to be pulling this video up for y'all. Like I said, I watched the interview. I don't think it was a slam dunk as Candace would love for y'all to think that she did such a great job. And no, it wasn't that the young lady, what's her name, Elle Reeves, was coming off the top rope on Candace. I think the issue at hand is that Candace comes across as really, really annoyed, really, really unlikable, and really, in a true sense, like a mean girl. A lot of people said it, like a mean girl in high school. Let me bring this in. Y'all can check it out.
The deep state for sure.
Zionism. Do you think it is a motivation for Zionism?
Well, I think it's weird that so many Zionists I know keep defending children being raped.
Hold on. We watched that one already. And I've already commented on that. Maybe did I pull it up? Oh, here's the frankest one. So this is what I mean by she spends a lot of mental capital on catastrophic. Wait, what was that? Catastrophic. I like that though. That one's not bad. I kind of like that one. All right. Okay. So what I want you to see is this. Candace spends a lot of mental energy on things that, in my opinion, are not beneficial for her mental health. I'm not trying to diagnose her before she gets on X and say I'm trying to diagnose her. I'm not doing that at all. What I am saying is that I don't see you talking about things that build up your for lack of a better term, you spiritually. You're reading about conspiracies, you're reading about these secret cabals and all that kind of stuff like that. That's got to have some kind of impact on you in the long range. And watch this, and you tell me what y'all think.
People that control the science are the people that are writing the books. Their own history book said we are the Khazars. A magic empire didn't disappear in the 8th century.
This is what
I'm talking about Jewish people, Ashkenazi Jews, just so we can, this who is they thing has got to stop. I'm talking about Ashkenazi Jews. I'm talking about the people that established Israel as a nation.
Owens also talks about a group called the Frankists, a heretical Jewish sect that did exist beginning in Eastern Europe in the 1700s. They had weird sex rituals. Some conspiracy theorists claim Frankists are an ongoing cult that has infiltrated the highest levels of society and manipulates world events. One of the most persistent anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Everywhere I look, I'm starting to try to chase this Frankist movement. Where is it? Its tentacles are everywhere.
Owens claims there are current practicing Frankists in the government right now, a claim for which there is no evidence. Does Trump, does our State Department?
No,
do you think they're controlled by Frankists?
What I said to you is you can pick your lane in terms of the people who would get behind and support a man who raped children.
What?
Are these people being blackmailed? Are these people terrified? Or are these people psychopaths? You can sort them into those buckets. I don't really have the time to. What I'm here to tell you is what I actually believe.
These people all say that you are doing a speed run through old school white nationalist conspiracy theories.
Well, then I guess I'm a white nationalist.
I'm not saying you're a white nationalist.
Then what
I'm
are you saying?
These are anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that have long been a propaganda tactic to delegitimize Jews, to make them seem like a scary, secretive cabal that is controlling everything.
There are tons of Jewish people who are speaking out against what's happening in Israel. And I do believe people in Israel who founded Israel, people like Theodore Herzl, were actually Frankists.
We talked about Frankists a lot, for a total of 8 minutes and 25 seconds.
So yeah, I think this cult still exists. That's what I'm telling you.
In our government.
At the higher, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think it
The deep
motivates
state for sure.
Zionism. Do you think it is a motivation for Zionism?
Well, I think it's weird that so many Zionists I know keep defending children being raped. Doesn't make me comfortable.
Who is defending children
Any
being raped?
person that is defending Jeffrey Epstein.
I want to look at this more big picture, right? So people have accused you of like your criticism of the war in Gaza as being motivated by anti-Semitism, which you deny. Can you look at it from a different perspective?
Real quick. So I did blend that Ashkenazi portion as well as the second part together to kind of get a little bit more context. I just want you to pay attention to like how Candace behaves. I don't think these questions are hard. I don't think these questions. She just doesn't like being challenged. She does not want you to challenge her. And I do think it was not by happenstance that she threw out the term that the woman was white. I'm going to stand on this again. Before the end of the year, Candace Owens is going to be screaming racism. Just like your old school BLM or septum ring leftists. I think she's going to be doing that. I don't think it's by happenstance that she did that. Okay, let's finish.
Are you delegitimizing criticism of the war in Gaza by tying it to these conspiracy theories about like Frankists and things that
I didn't tie it to those conspiracies. What's happening in Gaza is wrong, and any person that can't acknowledge that is either being blackmailed, is either a psychopath, or they're fearful for their life. What's happening in Gaza, I can see with my own eyes. It's not conspiracy theory, and by calling everything a conspiracy theory doesn't make it so.
I feel like you actually got more careful with your language, because when I first started listening, I'd be like, who's they, Candace? You'd be like, they want you to believe this, they want you to believe that.
Why do you say who is they?
Exactly.
It's a word. Like, so why do people do that?
But I know I'm not the only one, because you addressed it on one of your podcasts. You're like, you guys are always saying, who's they? Well, I mean, Israel, not Jews.
No, but like, it's just,
You
they is a
have addressed
word.
it.
They is a word. So like, I don't need to always like say they. Like, it's just a weird, it's like, this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right?
Okay, I'm going to stop for a hot second because I realize now they did actually qualify who the they was about 3 minutes ago, and it's Jews. Because she says it, like, oh, there goes that they thing again. So she actually does, in fact, say that the they, They, is in reference to Jews, Israel, Jewish people, whatever you want to say. So that's not a lap too far for Elle to be asking that question. And I do think Elle did a good job of breaking this down. And I think she should have just pushed harder, actually. And I put the question out there. I would love to see the director's cut of this, because I got a feeling Ella did a great job. And I think she probably did more than the edit actually shows. All right, let's go.
The same people that control the science are the people that are writing the books. Their own history books said we are the Khazars. A magic empire didn't
I'm sorry, I hit rewind, but isn't that it? So she's saying their own books say that we are the Khazars. So we know who she's talking about. The they is the Khazars or the Ashkenazis, whatever. So now let me jump back to where we're supposed to be. Please forgive me.
Gaza by tying it to these conspiracy theories about like Frankists and things that
I didn't tie it to those conspiracies. What's happening in Gaza is wrong, and any person that can't acknowledge that is either being blackmailed, is either a psychopath, or they're fearful for their life. What's happening in Gaza, I can see with my own eyes. It's not conspiracy theory, and by calling everything a conspiracy theory doesn't make it so.
I feel like you actually got more careful with your language, because when I first started listening, I'd be like, who's they, Candace? You'd be like, they want you to believe this, they want you to believe that.
Why do you say who is they?
Exactly.
It's a word. Like, okay, so why do people do that?
But I know I'm not the only one, because you addressed it on one of your podcasts. You're like, you guys are always saying, who's they? Well, I mean, Israel,
You
not
said
Jews.
already.
No, but like, it's just,
You
they is a
have addressed
word.
it.
They is a word. So like, I don't need to always like say they. Like, it's just a weird, it's like, this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
They is not just a word. It actually has a proper definition of its category in grammar. It is a pronoun that takes the place of a proper noun. So Candace, who is the they? Just like if you use the term I or we or us or you, it is in place of Jason, the best live chat on the internet, Chica Bingham, Again, I'm using those pronouns instead of it. So they mean something. And she knows this. That's the part. Like Candace is playing a role here that is deplorable because you know what she means. Finish up, Jason. We're done.
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
Does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear.
But you were talking about the Ashkenazi Jews, and they were very bad people according to your testimony. I know maybe I shouldn't have broke it up like this, but you're talking about the Ashkenazi Jewish people. So yeah, you are saying Jews. Crazy word.
You're Jews, that's your own derangement, right?
So that was a part of the interview. I don't want to get it taken down, so I don't want to play all of it. But it's on CNN. I would highly recommend. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. If you have some time, you want to go check it out. I think it's going to be. I'm just trying to see if they have it on their channel, because if they do, then maybe I can play it. But they don't have the full interview on their channel on CNN yet. I just went to their channel and actually paid for it today to watch it. But yeah, this is very interesting, y'all. Shout out, thank you so much, Real Justice with the $2. Her and Frankincense sat and denied any SA on October 7th. Finkelstein. I'm sorry, I said Frankincense. Finkelstein. Yeah, that was and I keep bringing this up, and I hope it doesn't sound like I'm just minimizing this, but I think the problem with Candace and many of these people is that their only focus is on what's going on in a small sliver of land about the size of New Jersey in the Middle East. And they're not worried about their neighbors next door. They're not worried about the situation going on in their HOA, their community, their town, their church, their own physical family and their relatives. They're not really that invested in it, but they are, marching and burning down and protesting, Main Street about what's going on 9 time zones away. And really, when the smoke clears, that's not as big an issue as people are making it out to be. It is an issue, and we should not overlook it. But I had Frank Stephen from a Nigerian perspective, where there are actual Nigerian Christians being killed on a daily basis. Wholesale slaughter. That's a bona fide, unequivocal genocide. And I'm just wondering why Candace Owens can't find it within herself to talk about that at all. And I'm not saying that there's not bad things going on in Gaza, but my goodness in the morning, like how does that at all affect? Where's Israel in that? Because those are Muslims that are killing those Nigerian Christians. And I think because so many of her audience, so much of her support, so much of her base comes from Islam. And of course, her husband's best friend, Andrew Tate, is a Muslim. I do think that she tends to turn a blind eye, just like she wants to say that we do. See, there's that. That's what I'm saying. She projects a lot of her own shortcomings onto other people. And that's a great example, in my opinion, a fantastic example, how she projects out onto others what she's doing in herself. She projects out onto these mega church pastors, and the Catholic Church is just as guilty as today is Monday about the same things. She projects out that these people are lying on her, and she's giving evidence that shows that she's lying. And again, those things back and forth. Same thing with Alex Clark. There's so much. I mean, again, we are literally living in the plank in your eye type of scenario. Like, Candace, just focus on yourself. Just focus on your own shortcomings and faults, because there's many. Just like I need to focus on mine, and all of us need to work on ours, because they know they got shortcomings and frailties. Like, it's really that easy. But let me know what y'all think. And I think I do think it's adorable that if you start watching from last Wednesday, if you watch from last Wednesday's stream, I want to say it was Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, she starts making this claim that the people are panicking and more people are coming to our side. I think that's interesting that she keeps saying that, when I'm like, what are you talking about? More people are looking at you like you are bona fide stir-fry crazy. Like, what do you mean more people are coming to your side? What does that mean? Where are these people at? Because they're not tapping in. So where are they? I think she realizes that it's not actually working. And yeah, she is gaslighting. She realizes that more and more people are not following her argumentation. More and more people are failing the IQ test because they know, like, Candace Owens is an IQ test. I need to stop rocking with this chick. And they've moved on. They're moving on from her, in my opinion. Now, somebody's going to jump in and say, she's got the best live chat, the most popular. Okay, whatever. All right, if you want to hang on that, hang on it. Just keep holding your breath, my guy. But what's Vanessa say? Vanessa, thank you with the $2 soup. She says, can we cleanse our palate with, from this crazy lady? You know what? I do think, I think that's the right thing to do. Thank you so very much for the $2 super and for reminding us that we need to cleanse the palate. Ooh, a public safety message. Man, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Good gracious. It looks like some kind of Amber Alert thingy. Yeah, I think the only thing that's right is to wait. Hey, let me stop for a second. Okay, before we do that, have y'all seen that video of Tucker Carlson talking about the demon that attacked him? I did not know what he was talking about because, Ami Kozak likes to make fun of that. And I was like, I just laughed, but I never actually heard Tucker Carlson tell the story. Have y'all heard this story? In the chat. Y'all, come on. Y'all have heard this? Y'all heard this story? Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Okay. We are going to watch Ami Kozak. Hold on. Y'all do know what that was, right? Hold on. Where is it? Is this it? I got it. Okay. Y'all, come on now. I don't want to be mean to Tucker, but this is the dumbest. I'm sorry. Y'all might just be mad at me. I'm sorry. This is the dumbest story. I know I told y'all that Candace was a IQ test. This story is the IQ test of IQ tests. See, you already read my notes, Ben. I'm putting you in 0-second timeout. Get out of my notes. This is y'all, this man told this story. Let me pull this in. This man told this story. I'm just going to let him tell it. I said, man, you got to be kidding me. Because I never heard, I remember Ami cracking jokes about the whole demon attack. And I'm like, what is he talking about? But I never pursued it. Somehow or another, this video came up. And I said, boy, if you don't sit your silly self down. He told the story like it was, here, let me just pull in. Never mind. Y'all can email management if you disagree with me. I understand. Let me just pull it in. Y'all just listen to it and you tell me what you get from it.
Do you think the presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good?
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to you?
Oh yeah, I had a direct experience with it.
In the milieu of journalism or just?
Nope, in my bed at night, and I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife and 4 dogs in the bed and mauled. Physically mauled.
In a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon. Or by something unseen that left.
Is that right?
Claw marks on my sides, on my...
So it left physical marks?
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Was your wife terrified? I know you were.
I wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe and I thought I was going to suffocate, and I walked around outside, and then I walked in and my wife and dogs had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder, and I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding.
Wait, they were bleeding?
They're bleeding, yeah. No, they're actual claw marks. And I sleep on my side, so I wasn't clawing myself. I don't have long nails. And they didn't fit my hands anyway. But yeah, that happened. So I'm not from a world where things like that happen. I never heard of anything like that happening before. I had no idea what that was. I knew it was spiritual immediately.
You did? Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah. I don't understand to this day. I'm not going to put it.
You didn't try to refute the spiritual part in your own mind. You went right into the.
Well, it didn't make any sense, and it doesn't now. But I'm not from a, what do they call it, faith tradition. that talks about things like that or even acknowledges their existence. Like, there's nothing like that. I've never heard anybody say anything like that in my whole life.
What was the next day like?
Well, the next morning I woke up and I thought that was the weirdest dream I've ever had. And then I saw blood on my sheets and I realized that was not a dream at all. I called my assistant, who was like the only evangelical Christian I know, well enough to call with something bizarre like that, totally bizarre like that. And she said, oh yeah, no, that happens. Yeah, people are attacked in their bed by demons. What? What are you even talking about? Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not leaving anything out, and I'm not pretending to understand that. I can only say what happened to me, and that did happen to me. And then I was seized with this very intense desire to read the Bible, which I then started without any study aids or anything. I bought a Bible that didn't have any. I'm not interested in editorializing in the Bible. I just want to read it and see what's in there myself. I have very low levels of trust for Christian pastors, most of whom, I'm just not a fan at all. And sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. And so I don't want to hear other people's opinions. I just want to see what's in there. And so I spent 1.5 years reading it, and then I started rereading it. And it was just a transformative experience for me, but I'm not, holding myself out as someone from whom you could get theological advice, because I'm
Sure,
not.
of course.
I don't know. I don't understand any of it. But yeah, that happened.
God
to me.
allowed the demon?
I have no idea what happened. All I know is I was dead asleep with my wife and dogs, and I woke up with claw marks on my rib cage underneath my arms, and it didn't even make sense. My arms would, anyway, whatever. No one has to believe me. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
But that happened to me, and so I just was like, wow, that's real. Whatever that is, I'm even not sure what it is.
It's
but
very real. And so then that presence of that evil
yeah.
launches something.
Okay. All right. So I do believe that Tucker Carlson was mauled in his sleep. I do believe that. I do believe he probably has claw marks under his rib cage still to this day, 1.5 years later. I have absolutely, positively no clue how he derived. You are in the bed with 4 canines. Why would you immediately go to a quote unquote demon attack, even if you believed in actual demon attacks? I don't believe that demons attack in the physical sense, but we can have that discussion when we do our book review of Screw Tape Letters after we finish Pilgrim's Progress in a couple of weeks. We'll do Screw Tape Letters. I have no argument that a demon can influence and bother and harass and harangue you. No argument at all. But why in the world would you, in the bed with 4 dogs, immediately say that the dog did not bite you or scratch you or maul you? Why would you go to a demon did this when you have no reason to believe that? Because he told you he had not read the Bible, so he doesn't even have a place of even like, oh, I remember what happened to Legion in the Bible, or this person was demon possessed in the Bible. He doesn't even have that framework. Why would you go to a demon instead of just saying, yo, my dog just literally bit the mess out of me in my sleep? Why would you not say that? Like, that makes no sense at all. That makes no sense at all. Like, how did you come to that place of oh, I got an idea. A demon got me. Instead of Fido just bit you. I mean, you're in the bed with the dogs, for crying out loud. If the dogs weren't there, maybe it would make sense. You're in the bed with the dogs. And he said that thing with full confidence. He said that thing with his whole chest. Oh, gosh. MT, I'm telling you right now, if it is some foolishness, I am going to put you in real serious timeout. If it's foolishness, you're going in timeout. Oh gosh. Y'all do me a favor. In the chat, y'all just type MT. Just type MT. Just put MT in. As many times as MT's name shows up in the chat, that's how long his timeout is going to be. This rascal, look what he sent me. Wait, hold on. Flood the chat with MT, because and as many times as his name is in there, we are going to. Somebody put MT. Somebody put MT. That's hilarious. All right, as many times his name's in there, that's how many 0-second timeout he's going into. Hold on. Let me share this with y'all. This rascal right here. This. He said, the email said, I found Tucker's dog. I'm going to show you what he did. Y'all, this rascal right here. This is why we can't have nice things. This is exactly why. That's Tucker's dog. Why are you like this, man? Why, MT? Why? Why art thou like this, my friend? Why? Now you got to go in 0-second timeout. Oh my gosh, man. That is so ridiculous, man. Why are you like this? Man. Shout out, MT. That's hilarious. I mean, but why would you say, oh, that's like if your kids slept in your bed with you when they were toddlers or whatnot, and your kid is a midnight ninja over at night, and they over kicking you in the back of the head. Why would you think that it was Bruce Lee? Oh, it's the ghost of Chuck Norris was beating me up last night. No, it was little Johnny, little Sally in the bed kicking you. Why would you immediately go to something supernatural when you have 4 dogs in the bed with you, my guy? Come on. I mean, they have claws. He literally said they had sharp claws. Like, and who else? Did anybody else have sharp claws in your bed, maybe? Possibly the dogs. This is crazy work, man. Like 4 dogs and not one woke up. Dogs are very perceptive. The story is weird because he also said his wife and dogs are super light sleepers, and he woke up and he got mauled and didn't make a sound. Okay. Whatever your name is, Tucker. Okay. I'm going with what you tell me, my friend. I'm going with what you tell me. You telling me that? That's what I'm rolling with. We got to get some Ami Kozak in here because we got to clean the palate. We got to get out of here. Hold on. I don't have y'all seen this? What's it called? Demon or K-pop Demon Hunters? I don't know what this is. I know it's a show on Netflix or something like that. That was supposed to be that was supposed to be pretty big. Anyway, Ami was referring to Mr. Tucker Carlson, and I thought it was funny. So let's go. Greenheart's in the chat.
Oh, wow. What is this?
It's K-pop Demon Hunters.
What is it? Is this real?
What? No, it's a movie, Dad. It's a movie.
Wow. No, is this like a documentary? What is this?
No, Dad. It's a kids movie. It's pretend.
Wow, it's very compelling. I mean, so this is real. This is like really realistic. This is definitely a documentary. I've seen.
No, it isn't. Stop.
It's at least based on real events, like really real events. I really believe that. I really do believe that. Like, really believe that.
It's a kids movie, Dad. It's on Netflix. It's just like a kids cartoon.
Yeah.
It's just like really popular right now.
Okay, but the characters are based on real things, like real entities, real demons that really exist.
No, it's just K-pop.
Are you sure this isn't a documentary? Like,
it's animated, Dad. Also, demons don't exist in real life.
I mean, first of all, that's not true, like at all. But it's definitely real to me. Wow.
Can we just watch?
That's terrifying, actually. Horrifying, actually. I've seen this. I've seen these in my life.
Okay, Dad.
That's the one that molested me. That's the one that molested me right there.
Mom.
You're my soda pop. Definitely my soda pop. Gonna be golden.
Stop.
I love that. This is so real, like really real. Very real, actually.
Okay.
Oh, what's this?
It's called United 93.
Oh, it's definitely fake. Oh, wow. What is this?
It's K-pop Demon.
What's United 93? Oh, man, y'all gonna have me go look that up, too. What's United 93? I feel like there was some shadiness going, some shade thrown there. He said United 93 was definitely fake, but K-pop Demon Hunters wasn't. That's crazy work, y'all. Yo, thank you so much. Yo, by the way, thank you so much to Melanie with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so very much for the very kind gift. I appreciate you. As well as to Wise, again, from ARP with a $10 super sticker as well. Thank y'all for blessing what we're doing over here. All right, I'm going to get this last one, and then I am going to go make dinner. All right, let's see. Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson discuss Ben Shapiro. I think that was going to be...
Oh, wow. Wow. What is this?
It's K-pop Demon Hunters.
What is it? Is this real?
What? No, it's a movie, Dad.
Did I mess it up?
It's a
I sympathize with Biden because every...
Here we go.
All right, let's talk about Ben Shapiro.
Who?
Ben Shapiro?
I don't even know who that is, actually, like at all.
Tucker, Ben Shapiro?
Well, isn't that the governor of Pennsylvania?
No, that's Josh Shapiro.
Right. Oh, Josh Shapiro. Okay. I have no thoughts on the governor of Pennsylvania. I mean, I don't agree with his politics, like at all, actually. And
So your issues just have been with Josh Shapiro?
Right.
Okay.
Listen, I'm a man. I'm a Christian. I'm in my 50s, and I mix up names like all the time, like all the time.
So when Ben said you kept ignoring his calls...
Right. Yeah, I thought that was Governor Josh Shapiro calling me to try to raise money for a campaign, and I'm like, no.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not giving money to that. So.
No, of course not. Why would you? This is all just a giant misunderstanding. I love this.
And so I get confused. I mix up names. Even the Fuentes interview. I thought when somebody said we're booking Fuentes, I thought we were interviewing my gardener.
Oh my God, really?
I happen to know a guy Fuentes who does my gardening, and I'm like, okay, I want to talk about my gradiolas and my hydrangeas for an hour. I could do that. I'd love to do that.
Right.
And so back to Ben. I mean, I certainly don't think he's the greatest purveyor of evil at all. Not the greatest. He's a purveyor of evil, but not the greatest. And so I don't think I've ever really said much about him, like at all.
So when you said Shapiro doesn't care about this country and you despise people like that...
That was Josh Shapiro. I think that was Josh Shapiro. And so just to finish the point, because this is important for Americans to hear. I mean, I saw Ben at Charlie's memorial. It was very friendly. It was very nice. And we were backstage together. He was eating hummus, obviously. But, I think he was fine. We were friendly. I mean, he was appalled, and so was I. But we got along just fine. But you know who wasn't there? Josh Shapiro.
I get it now.
So that's my point.
Yeah.
Look, I don't believe in tribes. Period. Okay? Even my own children. I disavow them all the time.
Why?
Because loving my own children, loving my own family before my country, that's tribal. That's genocide.
Well...
I'm an American, okay?
But Tucker...
American.
But your family, I mean...
You know, if my children speak bad about America, bye-bye.
Well, that's patriotic.
And so...
That's really America first.
I really believe that. Those are my principles.
Yeah. All right, lastly, what are your thoughts on Ben Shapiro?
I love him.
All right, so clean slate. Everything you said before was just a giant misunderstanding.
That was the demon talking.
Oh, my God. All right, let's talk about Ben Shapiro.
Who?
Hold on. Shout out to Ami Kozak. I love it. All right, I'm going to clean this palette. Okay, I think since I'm about to go cook, I think the only thing that's right is to bring in Christian Johnson, and we're going to wrap this show up. What's up, Christian Johnson? Y'all know I love Christian Johnson, man. Y'all need to tell this brother that we need here in Atlanta, because Atlanta is not real. Oh, by the way, y'all need to pray. Hold on real quick. I do ask y'all to pray for Atlanta in all seriousness. We have snowflakes falling in Atlanta. I don't know what we're going to do. Y'all pray for us. Please pray warm prayers for Atlanta. Atlanta does not need snow. We do not need snow. Do not. I'm like, it was hot yesterday and it is legitimately snowflakes. Now, again, they're not accumulating at all. But just pray for us anyway. Yeah, we don't need snow here in Atlanta. The ATL does not need snow. Please pray. Warm prayers. Warm prayers. We don't need it. Okay. So let's bring Christian Johnson up in here. Oh, y'all need to tell that brother, look, we need a show here in Atlanta. We need a comedy show here in Atlanta. He needs to come do it. I think that's only the right thing to do. And if he doesn't do it, I think we're going to have to stop bringing him on the show. What the heck?
That's a bathroom what?
Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm almost scared of what he about to do.
What in the world?
That's a bathroom what? I'm almost
This is
scared of what he
gross.
about to do. Get your hand out of there. And cheese in a fruit pie.
What is that?
Oh, my stomach bubbling. Wait, where did he get the rotisserie equipment?
Really?
Wait, is he lathering that pork with the bathroom tissue? Just look at him cooking that motel meat, Lord have mercy. I should probably call for some help. Oh, no, and he about to eat it too. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, housekeeping.
Oh my gosh. That was horrible. Okay, we gotta fix it. That was terrible. Okay, that was just, what the world was I seeing? Why do people do that? Okay.
You know.
Wait, hold on.
That's a bathroom what?
Why is it
This guy visited. My mother once told me something I'll never forget.
Well, we're going crazy here today. We're going crazy. I done lost my place, and that thing just.
My mother once told me something I'll never forget.
All right, here we go. Now we back. All right. I wish you could see you. He doesn't tell you what it is, though. All right, I'm gonna click on this one. Prayerfully, this is
One of the most challenging culinary experiences.
Nope, that's not one. That looks crazy. Christian is ruining my night here. Is it from today? What is it? I'm sorry what I'm looking at. I'm sorry, I'm looking at what y'all typing in here. Okay, this is gonna be the last one we're gonna go. Oh, we watched this one already.
Why she cutting it like that? So she not gonna cook no fresh seafood. No, don't put the noodles in there. What's wrong with cooking the noodles in the pot on the stove? Ma'am, stop pouring it from jar to jar. Wait, did she fill those jars up with something? She did, and she poured that Alfredo water on there.
Why? Why do people do this?
Oh, my stomach is bubbling.
Oh my God.
She ain't put no seasoning on that. Ain't gonna do nothing but taste like cheese and water. And now she's stirring it. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this.
I'm batting a 0, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on Sarah's seafood soup.
I'm batting a 0 tonight, y'all. That was terrible. I gotta end on something good, y'all. Come on. I cannot end on foolishness. All right. Hopefully this is a good one. Lord have mercy, please. All right, here we go.
You know I got it, baby. If you give it to me, I'll give it to you. I know what you want. You know I got it, baby. If you give it to me, I'll give it to you. As long as you want.
New York City, the Not Just Internet Funny Tour will be in your city this Saturday, okay, October 18th at Broadway Comedy Club. Get your tickets, Lord have mercy.
That was not what I wanted, but that was a good ending. All right, hold on. I said I was gonna, okay, here go my girl right here. I got faith in her. I believe in her. She usually be she does a good job.
Ground turkey.
Okay.
Okay, that's ground turkey. What you making?
What you making?
You know what? People that eat ground turkey and not ground beef be thinking they better than you.
Here I have 12 ounces of some cooked thin spaghetti.
Oh, okay, so you're making spaghetti. Spaghetti, that's one of black people's favorites. You can cook spaghetti in a black household on Monday and eat on it till Friday.
Adding in my cooked ground turkey, 8 ounces of mozzarella, 4 ounces of provolone, 5 to 6 ounces of some...
Wait. Why are you putting the spaghetti noodles in the ground turkey in the same bowl like that? And good gracious alive, that's a lot of cheese.
16 ounces of some heavy cream.
Wow.
Is this spaghetti or not?
I'm gonna freeze for about 1 to 2 hours so it can solidify.
Wait, did she just say freeze the spaghetti?
What is this?
Miriam, what you got going on?
First, we're doing egg, flour, egg again, breadcrumbs.
Somebody! Is she about to...
What in the world?
Sweet little Italy Jesus, did she just make a spaghetti mozzarella stick? Oh, Heavenly Father, what in the ciao bella big back? I thought I had done seen it all, but we frying spaghetti now? But just look how good. Oh, get yourself together, don't you? All my life, I pray for some food like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. That was a lot of cheese you mixed in there, so I'm gonna just start with one. Yeah, you right. With that cheese, we better pace ourselves. Yeah, I'll take one of those mozzarella sticks. Lord have mercy.
All right, shout out. We done cleansed the palate, y'all. Hold on a second. We done cleansed the palate, y'all. That was hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna have to find some longer episodes. I think he does some longer ones. I think so. Okay, so tomorrow we'll have some longer ones to check out. And Ami Kozak did a stand-up. I think it's probably going to be worth our time. I think it'd be worth our time to check it out. Cleanse the palate a little bit, that kind of stuff like that. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for rocking with me tonight. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Thank y'all for hitting the like button, all that kind of good stuff like that. It means a lot. I'm glad that y'all have fun coming over here, checking out Candace's live streams and whatever that was today. I appreciate y'all for sure. Thank you so much to the very kind supers. Thank you to all of the members, the moderators, everybody that just tapped in. Thank you. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, please make sure you tip your waiters on the way out the door. Make sure you hit that like button. Drop a green heart in the chat. Everybody, let's get ready to do this again tomorrow. Everybody have a great night. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Whitt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.